Live. Benefactors keep the lights on at Frosty Tools to prevent messages like this one. Get great perks and help support the tools. Become a benefactor. Hi, Jig Fox. Done. I'm out. I have things to do. Well, hello, Silver. Hi, Maddie. I'm not obsessed. It's just a fun pastime.
Have fun.
Thanks. Thanks, Silver. Silver's playing it too. Silver's enjoying it. He sent me a message and it says, what does it say? The game is unfortunately fun. Warrior Cat Wednesday! I saw you on it like 1 in the morning. What? No. I probably just forgot to close it. That happens to me a lot. Hello, my fellows and fillettes. Hello, Aiden. Hello, Maddie. Hello, Ivy Wynn. Hello, Jake Fox. Hello, Persnaps. Sure, it's true. I have a grandma bedtime. Remember? I go to sleep at like 9, even 8 sometimes if I don't have anything to do. I'm like, well, I guess I should go to bed. That's a normal bedtime. That's what I thought too, but kids these days, people these days, they go to sleep at like 12. What's grandma about that? Apparently, quite a lot. I wish I could take that initiative. See? Persnaps understands. Persnaps gets it. My grandma's bedtime is at like 12 midnight. Okay, honestly, you're right. My grandparents would always stay up really late and then wake up really early. Like, they're like reading until like 11 at night, and I'm like in bed before then. And like everyone at my work, they're like, yeah, I'm tired. I'm like, when did you go to sleep? And they're like, I'm 1. And they're like old. I got a 9-year-old bedtime. You're right. Actually, you're right. I have the bedtime of a 9-year-old. There's 2 types of old people, the night owls and the early risers. But then there's also the old people that are night owls and early risers, like together, like my grandparents, who stay up till except I have 2 sets of grandparents, and one of them, they stay up late and they wake up early, and then the other one go to sleep early and wake up early. She playing phone games or watching lawn mowing. You know what my grandma used to watch? She used to watch plane saving videos, like emergency crash landing saving videos. Like they're about to crash, but then they like save and land on like a road or something like that. Like she would just watch these like disasters. It was so funny. And if you like look on her YouTube recommended, it was like all of these videos of like plane so and so saved, everyone survived. And she like, and once I was like over and she just started watching them, and I'm like, what are you watching? And she's like, it's cool. I'm like, why? Just watching videos of body cams from officers. Grandparents always watch the most random stuff. They sure do. You're so eepy. Go to bed. You can fall asleep to my reading. Your grandma and grandpa sleep at 2 a.m. Holy. Tell them to watch Cuphead and Mugmen. I don't think that they would know what that is. I guess to be fair, who am I to judge? Because sometimes I'll just watch poof cleaning videos. Like that's some good stuff. I like watching tooth cleaning videos. The Cuphead show. I would, but I'm trying to stay up until 8 or 9 because if I don't, I'll wake up at those times and then not fall asleep until 3. Uh-oh. What are you gonna work on? Did you say tooth cleaning? No, hoof cleaning! Hoof! A horse's hoof. A hoof. You know when they have like a lot of gunk in their hooves and then they get like that like knife and they like scrape it away and then they like peel away all the bone, or not bone, what is it? Like it's like, what's it called? I don't know what it is. Like fingernail stuff. Keratin? Is that it? Keratin? They like peel away the keratin and then it's all pretty and then they like they burn the horse hoof into it and then nail the hoof into it. Crazy. The cuticle? I love the cow ones. I've never seen a cow one. Cuticle? Oh. I have cuticles. I find myself watching those cow hoof cleaning vids where there's like cysts and stuff. I've seen a few of those. Those ones are quite interesting. Like when they like dig really deep and then they find it and then it like starts oozing and it's like, wow, the relief must be amazing. Nate the hoof guy. I should look that up. You know what's another good type of video to watch? Sheep shearing videos. Sheep shearing videos are good. There used to be like this lesbian sheep shearer that would always come up on my feed and I loved watching her. We're the same person! I want digital or cafe! I hate gambling in the Uma game sometimes because all of the random Umas I get is never the one I want. Aww. Ooh, Ivy win! You won the Pop Cup Royale! That's like one of the first times I think a YouTube viewer has won the Pop Cup Royale. Congratulations! I got both the Oguri caps on Kita-san's banner. No! What is she doing there? That's funny. That's silly. That's silly stuff. Wait, what? Because I stream on Twitch and I stream on YouTube. And on Twitch, I have a bunch of channel redeems. And one of the channel redeems is the Pop Cups, which are these guys on the bottom of the screen. These guys. A Pop Cup Royale, and so they fight to the death. And everyone on YouTube and on Twitch get their own Pop Cups. So you guys were fighting. See? Here's... Oh, wait! Wait, that must be it. Look. Oh, never mind. You guys got taken away. I think that's what the... No, because Maddie is also that. Maddie, are you watching? No. I don't know. Okay, guys, I give up. I thought for a second the different name icons were YouTube viewers and Twitch viewers, but it wasn't that. Fight! 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 Am I dead yet? I'm still alive. Who's winning? Who's winning? Jake Fox is winning! Jake Fox, you're winning! Is this when YouTube viewers take control? YouTube viewers might be going crazy? Dun 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 dun. I think YouTube viewers are gonna win. BRB going on YouTube. Aw, Aiden almost won. Jake Fox, you won! Yeah! Congrats! Throwing tomatoes. So how have you guys been? Yesterday I couldn't stream because I went to the dentist. The dentist went really fast. It took like 5 minutes. So did I really need to go to the dentist? Questions. We don't know. We don't know. And then I've expressed my anger with my Kitty and Black Bulls. I'm glad that you got your anger out. Yay! What did you do? What did you do yesterday while I wasn't here? Do I get a small thing for my lion guy? Tiger guy. So there's I don't know what it is on YouTube. Actually, let me look it up. I can get you the link and you should be able to log or edit your little guy. You got the NTR card? No, that's me! What is it? What is it? What can I do, you fool? Okay, here it is. Just kidding, I can't grab it. Okay, there we go. But this is like Twitch. Do you think it'll work anyways? You got a nose piercing? Heck yeah! Like a septum or on the side? Okay, hopefully YouTube people, if you press on that, it goes to the Twitch TV one, but I think it should still work. And that's where you can customize your little guy. You just got your mohawk back. Your mohawk. Red. Nose piercings are tough. The side, nice. Should be able to. Wait, can I make my own one? Yeah! You all have your own. Just by following me, you get your own little pop cup that you can decorate. You gotta use your... But you can only decorate... You have to buy the clothes and stuff, and you get kernels to do that, which is what you won when you won the Pop Cup Royale. You can't! No! You don't use Twitch. Dang it. I don't know what the YouTube version of it is. There... Let me look. Let me look. This is a good question. Maybe you can go to direct Steam link in browser link. Let's go to disregard grab the direct Steam link in browser link. Can you do it for you? Sure. What color do you want to be? Do you want to be... We have pink. Oh wait, no, I'll tell you all the flavor names. So there's raspberry, orange creamsicle, lemon, apple, blueberry, grape, black sesame, black cherry, candy apple, ramune, sour apple, gumball, blue raspberry, boysenberry, and pumpkin. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use pumpkin. Yellow? Gotcha. Now where are you? Gift. User. Jake. There you are. You are lemon. Whoa! Did it work? Can I not make you wear it? Here, let's try and decorate him. There. Okay. Successfully pinned him. You're a good pop cup. We want this. Thank you for the follow. No flavor for scalpel. We want lemon. Bam. Yeah! Let's go! Oh, wait. Pumpkin. Just kidding. You wanted pumpkin. Where's the next pumpkin? Oh, there we go. Ready? Bam! Wah! Can you customize me? You can customize yourself. People on Twitch can customize if you scroll down. People on YouTube, I guess it's more difficult for them to do. How do I... Well, I guess you're stuck there. Ivy, do you want to be pumpkin as well? It won't let you. How do I unpin you? Okay. Oh, there we go. I'm getting glitched out. It's loading for... Yeah, it does take a long time to load, but it will load eventually. Yeah, if it's your first time clicking it, yeah. You want to be bubblegum. Okay. Ivy Wind /1712. Oh, brother. Oh, bother. Bubblegum. Bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. Bubblegum. Wait, we don't have bubblegum. We have gumball. Gumball is like a dark blue. Do you want to be a dark blue or do you want to be like a bright pink? Invade the chat, Aggie! I was gonna change my flavor, but I think burnt is too iconic. It is true. That is true. You are the burnt Papa Cub. Ivy, do you want to be pink or blue? Radioactive. Those are the more advanced skins. That's why they're more expensive. Gumball is fine? Alright. Bam! There you go. You see yourself? Here you are. Yay! Bubblegum, bazooka, zooka, bubblegum. You're simply more advanced, yeah. Good job, guys. I love the little pop cubs. When I was, before I was a Twitch streamer, you don't want to steal Snigglefritz's style. Snigglefritz isn't a tiger. Snigglefritz is red. I'm the tiger. Me. Snigglefritz shouldn't be red, should he? He's like pink now. Wait, what color is Snigglefritz? Pink, right? Thank you for the hydrate, Hinta! Or is he more like green? Teal? Ramune? Thank you for the follow, Tia Loves! Let me look it up. Where are you? Oh my god, yesterday it was so... It's not funny, but it's funny in context. So I was looking at my little collection for ZB1, which is a K-pop group, and they're kind of like sitting on my windowsill, and all of a sudden I'm like, why is there dirt? There's like some things of dirt on my little keychains, and I was like, what the heck? I don't have a plant in here. And then I realized the entire like the window in the corner was starting to like crack open, like the window was being pulled away from the wall, and I can like see down into it now, and there's like a hole, and it looks pretty rough. But what's funny but not funny is that I noticed it on the day that ZB1 separated because their contract was up, so it was like symbolic, you know, like a crack. They were cracking apart. You hit a new PR on my YouTube. Wow, that's so good. Hi, Steve. Sorry, I was in the middle of chattering. Can Nono tell the future? I might be able to. Honestly, yes. I think that I can. I think I have a little bit of future vision. Like, I'll have a dream, or I'll have like a epiphany. Billy! And then all of a sudden it'll happen the next day. What was I looking for again? Oh, Snicklefritz. Schnickelfritz. Schnickelfritz. Where is my Schnickelfritz? Wait, I don't even have him saved here. Schnickelfritz. Where are you? Okay, he's like... I don't think I have a color for this. Do I? He's kind of orange, actually. I guess I could... orange him? Or maybe black cherry. Yeah, black cherry, actually. Let's decorate him. He needs a new look. Where are you, Snicklefritz? Oops. Can you... Oops. Oops! Sorry, Juice. Hi, cute! Oh, are you gonna play Heartopia later? Not today. I do have to log in for today, though. Quick access. We're falling, flying. There's not a star in heaven that we can reach. Nice, nice. Okay. Snicklefritz does have a little bow thing, but he doesn't have a hat. He kind of like radiates, rich. There's not a star in heaven that we... No? No what? There's no star in heaven? Oh, yeah. You stay up there for what you've done. There's not a star in heaven that we can't reach. Maybe I'll make him quite simple. He has a little necktie. I'll give him the jester collar. No one really wears that. I don't even think I wear that. Do I? No, because I have a fish in my mouth. Jester collar. None. Collar. Peekaboo. Jester collar. Oh, is it broken? Uh-oh. Bad news, guys. It's broken. Maybe that's why my neck is empty. Interesting, interesting. Oh wait, no, the fish should work. Okay, I'll give him a ruffle then. Wait, what's going on? Why isn't it working? Why aren't you working? Now it's just like, oh, there we go. he goes. There he goes. There he goes again, racing through his brain. I'll give him some sprinkles, too. Some sprinkles. Sprinkles, sprinkles. Hats. Sprinkles. There. A little spiced up. A little changed. There we go. Or a gear. No, what have I done? A guilty gear. Silver, welcome back. Welcome back, Silver. Fancy meeting you here. I tried playing Guilty Gear once. And that's exactly how it went. Rugged. Since you did a Heartopia live, yes. I did do a Heartopia live once. Where am I looking for? Oh, yes. Alright, guys. I'm playing an online gambling for fun. What should I do? Red or black? Red! Red. When did I get my hat on? I'm hatted. All red. All in on red. Well, guys, I've been, like, trying to... You ended up playing too much Billy? Do you like him? Or not enough? Or you're tired of him now? You're, like, accidentally good at Billy? Billy infection. I love Billy's character. He looks so cool. I love a goat. I love a good old goat. Okay. Can you play Heartopia? I play it off stream. You won? Yeah! Let's go! I've been working on my Minecraft skin for Adventure. And oh, you want to see a sketch of my character Bells? Now that she's been through war. This is just the sketch right now, but the rest of it will come soon. Copy image link. I'll do that. Browser. Bam. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, never mind. You don't get to see her. But so the YouTube server, I mean not YouTube, the Minecraft server that it is in uses Figura, and so you can like model, you can model your Minecraft character, like add on things. So I might end up trying to add on like a little cape thing, and also ears and cute little buns. You are not in the age range for 6'7". Everyone is in the age range of 6'7". What is she? That's what makes it so much funny. She's a little elf type creature. She's no tiger. So I couldn't make myself a giant tiger tail, but... Bye, Aiden! Good luck! We should start reading soon. Today on live? I don't know about that. I hope you see my series soon. Me too! Thank you for the hydrant and the... I think I have to do a bathroom break too. Before it's time. Should I get a Jello as well? I think I'll get a Jello. I'll take a bathroom break. Okay. Slurkin time. Time to get to work, everybody. Everybody, get ready. Get ready. I'll be right back. I'm back! I got some Jello and 3 tiny cupcakes. Thank you! It's been 2 weeks! Technically, it's been yesterday, because I play it every day. But I only really log in to do dailies when there's no events going on. Hello. I think Jello has been severely underappreciated. It's like a hospital food, right? But man, is it good. Man, oh man. All right. Let us begin. So, previously on Warrior Cat Wednesday, Moth Flight finished her trip to the Moonstones. She got a message from StarClan telling her, all right, you're going to be the first ever medicine cat. You have to go wrangle up the rest of the medicine cats, and you have to bring them to here at the half moon. And they were like, and then Moth was like, okay. And also Micah is going to be Sky Clan's medicine cat. And so she went out and she told Micah, and Micah was like, oh, sweet, that's why I've been dreaming about this guy. And she's like, you've been dreaming about him? And he's like, yeah, I have. And then they go back to Wind Clan, and they're hoping to run into him. They were hoping to run into the patrol that's going to the gathering. Hi, J-Sizzle! They're hoping to run into them when they go to the gathering, but they don't, so they have to go to the gathering, and then Moth Flight interrupts them in the middle because there's kind of like a little fight-see going on. Snacking? What are you snacking on? Samosas! What kind of samosas? And so... Oh yeah, so they start like, they're like, you were on our territory hunting prey. And they're like, no, we weren't. And they were like, yeah, you are. There's a little bit, oh, that sounds so good. Lentil and chickpea, my favorite. So that's what they were doing. And yeah, they were kind of like making a fuss. And so Moth Flight jumped in and she was like, no, I have to tell you guys something. And then she like was like, I visited StarClan and they've told me things. And they're like, yeah, right. And she's like, yes, it's true. And they're like, no. And she's like, they told me that there's gonna be a medicine cat from every clan. Then she named like a few, but not Micah because, you know, it was Micah. And they're like, no. And then she's like, it's true, I promise you. They actually told me that there's gonna be a sign of some type. And they're like, yeah, okay. And she's like, yeah, they said that the sky was gonna cut in half or something. And then all of a sudden, a lightning strike happened and the sky basically cut in half. And everyone was like, oh, okay. Okay, I guess they are talking through you. All right, sure. My Twitch name is the same as my YouTube name, so Nono's Carnival. You should be able to find it in my description or my profile. So they all agree that that's what they're gonna do, and then Clear Sky's like, what about my medicine cat? And they're like, oh, that's gonna be Micah. And Micah comes in, and they're like, we're just supposed to accept this rando cat? And he's like, yeah, you are. Hogwarts Legacy. I'm not too interested in Hogwarts Legacy. Also, it's really expensive. And then what happens? And then they go about their... Oh, wait, no. Micah's like, actually, I've had a dream about giving a kit some herbs. And they're like, oh, wait, our kit is sick and needs herbs. And then he's like, yeah, I'll give him some. I'm giving them that herb. And so they're like, okay, you can come for now. And so they all split up, and there's like medicine cats now, and And Mothflight is kind of like in her new position, but she doesn't know anything because she hasn't been a medicine cat or done anything really medical ever. So she's kind of getting taught by Reed, I think. And she feels kind of pathetic. She runs into Micah, who came to visit because he missed her. And then we can tell that there's a little, she has a little crush on him. There's a little crushy going on. But she's also very jealous because Acorn Fur and him are kind of like partnered up, but only because Clear Sky doesn't really trust him, and she's basically like his bodyguard or whatever. Or the clan's bodyguard? I don't know. Anyways, that's where we're at. They said they finished the last message with the last chapter with I'll see you at the half moon. Okay, I'll see you at the half moon. Crazy, I was crazy once. Full of rats, the rats made me crazy. I was crazy once. I missed that meme. That was a good meme. I still don't know where it's from. A rubber room full of rubber rats. Okay, now we will start reading. As usual, it may take me a hot minute before I remember how to read again. If you chat during my reading, I might not read it immediately. If there's a raid, I probably will pause to thank them. I gotta just say it. So, go do some work. Go do some chores. Listen, have a nap. I don't know. Do whatever you want. All right. Chapter 17. Mothflight glanced at the moon. It rose a perfect half circle among the stars. The days since full moon had passed quickly. Mothflight had been busier than she'd ever been before. Now she was on her way to Highstones. She paused, her paws chafed from the stony farm tracks. Micah halted beside her. Tired? A little, she admitted. She'd normally be curled up in her nest by now. They'd left WindClan as the sun sank towards the horizon. Micah and Cloudspots had met Mothflight on the moor top where she'd been waiting, the wind rippling her fur, heart racing in anticipation of their journey to Moonstones. Now she glanced at Highstones, looming ahead of them. We've made good time. Cloudspots had hurried ahead. She could see him, no more than a shadow tracking back and forth at the bottom of a beech hedge, as though looking for the easiest way through. What if the spirit cats don't come? Micah touched his muzzle to her shoulder. Wait. Her shoulder or his shoulder? You worry too much. Cloudspots glanced over his shoulder. I've picked up Dapplepelt's trail. At last! Mothflight was beginning to wonder whether the RiverClan medicine cat had forgotten the meeting. Pebbleheart's with her, Cloudspots called. Mothflight hurried to catch up with the ThunderClan medicine cat. Is the trail fresh? Yes. Cloudspots ducked under the hedge and disappeared. Mothflight squeezed after the long-furred black tom, the beech twigs scraping her pelt. Michael wriggled through at her tail. On the other side, a meadow stretched into the shadow of Highstones. The cliffs seemed to swallow half the sky. Cloudspots was already bounding through the long grass towards two feline shapes moving at the far side. Pebbleheart! Cloudspots' yowl rang in the cold night air. Dapplepelt, is that you? Yes! Pebbleheart's call echoed back. Micah broke into a run. Come on, we're nearly there. Mothflight hurried after him. As the soft grass turned to stones beneath her paws, she reached the RiverClan and ShadowClan medicine cats. I thought you'd forgotten, she puffed. Dapplepelt's tortoiseshell fur rippled along her spine. How could we forget something as important as this? I can't wait to speak to the spirit cats. Pebbleheart's eyes shone with starlight. Micah paced back and forth, his tail twitching. Cow and Mouse would never believe this. He looked towards the high stones. The opening was just barely visible, a dark shadow in the face of the rocks.
Uncle Grandpa, hi, thank you.
Cloudspots followed his gaze. Is that where we're going? Yes. Butterflies fluttered in Mothflight's belly. Is it deep inside? Pebbleheart's mew trembled. There's no need to be scared, Mothflight reassured him. Once we've entered, you'll feel the moonstone calling you. She remembered the strange calm that had enfolded her last time. Come on. Micah began to cross the stone. Mothflight bounded after him, pebbles crunching beneath her paws as the slope steepened towards the foot of the cliff. I bet you never thought a moon ago that you'd speak with dead cats, she guessed as she caught up. I never thought I'd be living in a forest, Micah returned. Mothflight blinked at him anxiously. Did he resent how much she changed his life? Are you sorry you met me? Micah halted and met her gaze solemnly. No, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Joy rippled beneath Mothflight's pelt. I feel the same way. Hurry up! Cloudspot slid past them, his black pelt hardly visible against the dark rock. Only his white ears and paws gave him away. Dapplepelt hurried after the black tom. Pebbleheart bounded behind, scattering stones in his wake. Wincing as one hit her paw, Mothflight glanced up at the dark opening. What would the others think when they saw the moonstone for the first time? Come on, Micah nudged her forward. Pebbleheart had already leaped into the shadowy ledge. The white spot in his chest glowed like a star. Cloudspots hopped up beside him and stared blinkingly into the tunnel. Micah followed Dapplepelt as Mothflight scrambled up after him. The icy stone felt familiar beneath her paws. She sniffed the shadows. The tang of stone and water washed her muzzle, and she shivered, excitement swelling in her chest. Follow me. As she padded into the darkness, cold air flooded over her pelt. Behind her, the starlight faded. We have to reach the cave by the time moonlight strikes the stone. Her breath billowed, warm around her nose. She heard the other cat's paws scuff the stone as they followed. Eyes wide, Mothflight peered into the blackness, relaxing as she let her whiskers guide her. Brushing the wall of the tunnel, she followed it down as it snaked deep into the high stones. You remember the way? Cloudspot's anxious mew echoed behind her. What if you take the wrong tunnel? Dapplepelt fretted. I know where I'm going, Mothflight promised. Micah's breath rippled her tail fur. I can't believe you came down here alone. I wasn't alone. A purr trembled in Mothflight's throat. The spirit cats were waiting for me. Are they now? Pebbleheart's mew sounded from the blackness. We'll see when the moonlight hits the stone. Mothflight quickened her pace. She didn't want to miss it. Fresh air touched her nose. We're nearly there. She rounded a corner and felt the tunnel open around her. Air swirled over her pelt as she blinked as she saw weak starlight rippling on the cave walls ahead. She paused, her heart pounding. Pebbleheart padded past her, nose twitching. Dapplepelt and Cloudspot circled the great rock. Micah stopped beside Mothflight. He stared at the hole high in the roof. Who'd have thought the starlight could reach down this far? Mothflight purred. Wait until the moonlight arrives. She padded towards the rock and settled herself in front of it. We have to touch our noses to it, she told the others. How do you know? Cloudspots blinked at her. I saw another cat do it in a dream. And last time I came, Pebbleheart cut her off. Look! Mothflight followed his gaze. Through the hole, she could see the clipped edge of the moon. Hurry! For a brushing rock, the other cat settled around the moonstone. Dapplepelt's eyes flashed with excitement. Pebbleheart shifted on his belly, pelt prickling. Cloudspots crouched beside him, a whisker from the stone. Micah settled beside Mothflight. She felt warmth seeping from his pelt and closed her eyes. My name on Twitch is the same as it is on YouTube, so Nono's Carnival. You can find it also on my profile and also in the description of this video, I believe. I'm the same name everywhere. Hi, Doughboy.
Hello! Hello! Ivy, wait, can you not hear me?
Something's wrong. Ivy is losing it. This is giving me a break to eat Jello. Just write it in the chat. There. Pebbleheart's gas made her blink them open. Light blinded her. The rock shimmered in front of her muzzle, brighter than countless stars. Her breath quickened as she touched her nose to it. The rock seemed to fall away. She was swept through the air, her head spinning, her heart pounding in her ears. And then she felt soft grass beneath her paws. She blinked open her eyes. Where was the cave? She was on the top of a hill. Green meadows stretched away on every side. In the distance, a forest lifted its branches to a clear blue sky. She felt sunlight warm her pelt and smelled the fresh scent of new leaf. Micah shifted beside her. She caught his eye. Where are we? You don't know? He blinked in surprise. Last time I never left the cave. Cloudspots looked around, pelt bristling. Dapplepelt leaped to her paws. What is this place? Pebbleheart's eyes were stretched wide with wonder. A silky mew answered him. These are our hunting grounds. Half Moon was climbing the slope towards them. More pelts shimmered into view, encircling the hilltop. Starlight shone in their fur. Joy swelled in Mothlight's chest. The spirit cats! They'd come! Half Moon padded past Mothflight and halted. As Micah turned his head, surveying the ranks of starry cats, Pebbleheart stretched his muzzle and sniffed at Half Moon. Dapplepelt tipped her head, curiosity flashing in her eyes. Stone Teller? It's good to see you settled into your new home, Half Moon purred. Cloudspots gazed into Half Moon's dark green gaze. Is it really you? Of course. The Thunder Clan Tom's gaze flitted to the other starry cats. Jackdaw's cry! Brightstream! He raced from one cat to another, touching muzzles excitedly. Rain-swept flower! Dapplepelt darted towards a brown she-cat. She greeted her, then jerked her muzzle towards an orange she-cat. Hawk swoop! Micah shifted his paws, staring blankly at the spirit cats. Turtletail! Pebbleheart's eyes lit up as he saw his mother. He nosed his way between the spirit cats towards her. Turtletail was already hurrying to meet him. Pebbleheart! Her eyes glowed with joy as she touched her muzzle to his head. Purring, he rubbed against her. I thought I'd never see you again. We're always close by. Greywing slid in from the crowd. Pebbleheart jerked his muzzle around, delighted. You're both here! Together! Greywing purred loudly, his starry pelt shimmering. It's good to see you, Pebbleheart. Half Moon lifted her chin. Let us gather and share news. At her words, the starry cats closed the circle around Half Moon, Micah, and Mothflight. Pebbleheart, Dapplepelt, and Cloudspots left their old friends and hurried to the center. You did well. Half Moon's green gaze glowed as she gazed at Mothflight. Did I? Mothflight blinked at her anxiously. Yes. As Half Moon dipped her head to Mothflight, murmurs of appreciation rippled around the spirit cats. Mothflight glanced at them shyly, pride surging beneath her pelt. I just told the clans like you asked me to. She remembered with a shudder Clear Sky's scorn, and Tall Shadow's disbelieving gaze. Even her clanmates had thought she'd imagined the spirit cats. Thanks for sending the lightning. Without it, the clans might never have taken her seriously. When you said you'd split the skies, I never guessed that's what you meant. Half Moon gazed at her warmly. You will get better at understanding us. Mothflight hoped she was right. What did you mean when you said later the stars would rise? She tipped her head, waiting for the white she-cat to explain. You will know when it happens. Frustration prickled Mothflight's paws. Why couldn't Half Moon just say what she meant? When what happens? Half Moon narrowed her gaze. Thunderclaw, thank you for the follow! That's a warrior cat name if I've ever seen one. Half Moon narrowed her gaze. This is your life. We cannot guide every paw step. If we did, you would only discover our path. You must discover your own. Mothlight's tail drooped. I guess, but it would be easier if you just told us what to do. Half Moon seemed to read her thoughts. It would be easier, but not better. She turned to Micah. Thank you for leaving your home to join us. Us? Micah's ears twitched. He glanced uneasily around the spirit cats. I only joined Sky Clan. You joined the clans, Half Moon purred. What are we if not another clan? Mothflight's breath caught in her throat. Spirit cats saw themselves as a clan. You're Star Clan, she breathed, remembering when she'd looked up at the stars and first thought of the name. Half Moon's eyes shone. Yes. She lifted her chin, surveying her starry clanmates. That's exactly what we are. Star Clan! Star Clan! The world rippled around the spirit cats, their eyes lighting up as they spoke their new name. Half Moon swished her tail, her dark green gaze returning to Micah. You bring fresh spirit to the clans, Micah, she purred. Mothflight sniffed. He would if Clear Sky let him. He's told Acorn Fur to watch him. Clear Sky is the leader, Half Moon reminded her. He will do what he thinks is best for his clan, but he will see Micah's worth. Her gaze darkened. I just hope he sees it soon. So do I. Micah fluffed out his fur. Greywing padded forward and stepped beside Half Moon. We're pleased to see the medicine cats learning skills from each other. Brightstream lifted her tail. We hope you will share more. The clans must pool their knowledge, Rainswept Flower urged from among her clanmates. But we know so little, Mothflight blurted. Half Moon's gaze flitted around the medicine cats. You will learn more if you share. Excitement sparkled in Mothflight's chest. Of course! Micah had told her about catmint, and she'd used it to cure Rocky. If she knew everything Dapplepelt, Cloudspots, and Pebbleheart and Micah knew, she'd be able to help her whole clan. That's what they already knew. She blinked at Half Moon. We will share, I promise. The Star Clan cat's pelt began to fade. Around her, the spirit cats were growing pale. Alarm flashed through Mothflight. Don't go yet. We will return next Half Moon, Greywing called as he simmered out of sight. The green meadows and distant forests grew hazy as Mothflight desperately tried to fix her gaze on them. She felt dizzy as they began to swirl. Blackness enfolded her and a chill swept her pelt. She blinked open her eyes. She was in the cave once more, the moonstone no more than a dull lump of rock. Micah shivered beside her. Pebbleheart pushed himself to his paws. Dapplepelt lifted her head, blinking. Did you all see that? We were on a hill. Cloudspot's eyes gleamed in the weak starlight. Stone Teller! Dapplepelt jumped up, her pelt bristling. She wants us to share what we know about healing. Who's Stone Teller? Mothflight tipped her head. Why did the older cats keep calling Half Moon by that name? She was our leader in the mountains, Cloudspots explained. We called her Stone Teller. Micah sniffed. If she's a healer, why doesn't she share what she knows with us? Dapplepelt patted around him, her pelt prickling excitedly. Healing was different in the mountains. There weren't many herbs. She must want us to learn new skills. Pebbleheart's eyes glazed, as though in deep thought. We have the chance to become better healers than she ever could. She knows that. She wants us to be better. Mothflight's paws tingled. We must try our best. We have to share everything we know. She wanted to make Half Moon proud. She's put so much faith in me. A few days ago, Micah told me how to stop cuts from getting infected. She looked at him expectantly. I made a paulus of dock and horsetail by chewing up the leaves, Micah told them eagerly. Blossom had a scratch that was turning sour, so I licked the paulus deep into the wound, and it was better by morning. Cloudspots' whiskers twitched excitedly. Clover kept chewing a wound on her paw, so I smeared some mouse bile on it. She didn't put her nose near it again. Shattered Ice got a bellyache from eating a stinky fish, Dapplepelt put in. I gave him watermint. He felt a lot better. I've been trying to work out if pine sap is good for anything, Pebbleheart mewed thoughtfully. So far it only seems useful for sticking leaves over wounds to keep dirt out. As the others looked expectantly at Mothflight, guilt warmed beneath her pelt. I haven't discovered anything. Except that too much catmint makes cats go crazy. I guess I could see if heather is good for anything, she mewed tentatively. But what if it's poisonous? It can't be, Cloudspots reasoned. Wind Clan cats must be covered in heather dust, and you don't get sick when you wash. Why didn't I think of that? Mothflight began to feel hot. Perhaps I should have brought Reedtail with me, she mumbled. He knows a lot. So does Milkweed, Cloudspots mewed. She's the one who suggested mouse bile. Micah's tail twitched. Instead of bringing every cat who knows something about healing here, why don't we travel to each other's camps? Mothflight frowned. She wasn't sure what he meant. It would only take one or two of us to travel around, learning and sharing knowledge. Micah paced in front of the moonstone. What if Mothflight and I traveled to another clan's camp and learned everything we could? Then we could move on to another clan and share what we'd learned and pick up new skills. What about the clan you left behind? Cloudspots argued. They'd only learn what you knew. We could take turns, Micah suggested. You could travel with Dapplepelt or Pebbleheart, so long as we keep learning and sharing. It doesn't matter who travels where. Pebbleheart nodded. It sounds like a good idea. How can we leave our clans? Dapplepelt argued. They need us. Mothflight shifted her paws. I know so little that WindClan would be just as safe with Reedtail in charge. Milkweed knows enough to look after ThunderClan while I'm gone, Cloudspots added. You see? Micah's eyes glowed in the half-light. The sooner we get started, the better. Dapplepelt tipped her head. Why don't you and Mothflight come visit RiverClan first? River Ripple will welcome you. He thinks medicine cats are a great idea. It might be hard to get Tall Shadow to agree to have strangers in her camp, Pebbleheart murmured. Micah blinked at him. Do you think Clear Sky's gonna let me leave without an argument? He switched his tail. We have to persuade our leaders that it's for the good of their clans. Pebbleheart nodded slowly. The more we know, the better we can help our clanmates, he agreed. Then it's settled. Micah turned to Dapplepelt. Mothflight and I'll visit you the day after tomorrow. Mothflight's ears twitched. What if Windrunner stops me? You're WindClan's medicine cat now, Micah told her. She has to listen to you. Mothflight blinked. He was right. She wasn't a kit anymore. She wasn't even an ordinary clan cat. Okay, she agreed. I'll meet you at the stepping stones the day after tomorrow. She'd seen the stones dotting the river where the forest gave way to the reeds of bed of RiverClan's territory. Micah purred. Great. Pebbleheart shook out his pelt. Cloudspot stretched, shivering, while Dapplepelt swallowed back a yawn. Mothflight guessed they were cold and tired. Let's go. She headed for the tunnel. We've got a long way to travel. Micah fell in beside her as she ducked into the shadows. How's Rocky's cough? Did the catmint work? Yes, Mothflight purred. Rocky had slept the whole day away after he'd swallowed the leaves, but he'd woken brighter and his cough was clearing up. Pebbleheart's mew sounded from the darkness behind. Is he the only cat in your clan with a cough? Sunshadow and Ravenpelt have been coughing for days. Juno's was just a bit wheezy this morning, Mothflight told him, but I think it's just pollen making her throat tickle. Milkweeds and Clover both have coughs. It's white cough. Cloudspots meowed. Shattered Ice has been croaking like a frog these past days. Dapplepelt's mew echoed around the tunnel walls. Mothflight brushed against Micah, frowning. Perhaps New Leaf always brought coughs? Is Tiny Branch still okay? He was spluttering a bit this morning, Micah confessed. I told Acorn to keep an eye on him. Mothflight could hear anxiety in his mew. He'll be okay if you give him catmint, won't he? Micah's paws scuffled the rock. There was a Tom on the farm with a cough, he meowed darkly. We called it Red Cough because at the end he coughed up blood. Red Cough! At the end? Mothlight shivered. The darkness suddenly seemed to press against her pelt as she patted on. I've never seen a clan cat cough blood, Dapplespots murmured darkly.
Ah, hello! Welcome in! Hi, Solava! Solova! You're playing ASMR. Hello, welcome. Solova is the cutest owl VTuber that you'll ever meet. They've been streaming a lot of ASMR lately, and it's just as adorable as they are. You have to check them out. They're silly sweet and always leave you wanting more. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for the raid. We are currently reading Warrior Cats. So, hello. If you wanna just hang out and listen, then that is fine and good with me. I hope you had a wonderful stream. I hope you continue to have a wonderful day.
Or a more wonderful day.
I'm gonna keep reading though. So get comfy.
Well, I lost my spot. Alarm prickled in Mothflight's paws. Did encampment help? She asked Micah. You said there was some behind the barn. Cow tried giving him catmint, but it didn't work, Micah explained. I know something more powerful than catmint. Cloudspot's mew sounded at Mothflight's tail. She felt his breath stir her fur. There's a tree on SkyClan's land. It oozes sap from cracks in the bark. That sap can cure any cough. Mothflight glanced over her shoulder hopefully. Even red cough? Never tested it, Cloudspots admitted. Fresh air began to wash Mothflight's muzzle. A few more paw steps and starlight showed through the darkness. Crisp air sent a surge of energy through her fur. She hurried onto the ledge and gazed over the valley. Moonlight drenched the distant moor. We'll be home by dawn. She leaped down, sending stones crackling down the slope, and headed for the meadow. Paws heavy with weariness, Mothflight ducked through the gap in the wall. Beyond it, the sky showed orange over the forest as dawn pushed the night away. She could hear the gentle snoring of her clanmates and make out their pelts, just shadows in the grass as they slept curled in their nests. How good would it feel to slip into her den and snuggle deep into her own nest? She heard the sound of fur brushing the rocks as she passed them. She turned, blinking, through the half-light. Who is it? Windrunner's scent bathed her nose as her mother slid from the rocks. You're back. The Wind Clan leader stretched sleepily and touched her nose to Mothflight's cheek. Did you wait up for me? Warmth glowed in Mothflight's chest. I slept a little, Windrunner admitted, but I wanted to make sure you got back safely. It's a long journey to Highstones. I had Micah with me, Mothflight reassured her. I know. Windrunner wrinkled her nose distastefully. Can smell his scent on you. Mothflight felt suddenly self-conscious. Cloudspot, Dapplepelt, and Pebbleheart were there too, she pointed out. Windrunner's gaze slid away. You speak with the spirit cats? Yes! Mothflight lifted her tail excitedly. StarClan told us we must share the knowledge we have with each other. StarClan? Windrunner jerked her gaze back. That's what the spirit cats are called now. They even have their own hunting grounds. Windrunner's eyes widened, but she didn't comment. Instead, she tipped her head. Who has to share knowledge? The medicine cats. Mothflight squared her shoulders. She might as well tell Windrunner about Micah's plan now. I'm meeting Micah at the border tomorrow. We're gonna visit RiverClan and learn everything Dapplepelt knows about healing. All the medicine cats are gonna visit each other's camps. It's what StarClan wants. Windrunner narrowed her eyes. Clear Sky won't let Micah visit other clans, no matter what StarClan wants. Why not? Mothflight met her mother's gaze. He's angry with Windclan. But that has nothing to do with Micah. Clear Sky doesn't like to be told what to do. Micah will convince him it's for the good of his clan, Mothflight insisted. Micah can be very persuasive. Windrunner's ears twitched uneasily. I don't doubt it. I'm tired. Mothflight ignored the suspicious glint in her mother's gaze and headed across the clearing. I'm going to my nest. There's a mouse for you on the prey pile, her mother called after her softly. Thanks. Mothflight blinked gratefully over her shoulder, but I'm too tired to eat. Sleep well, then. Windrunner dipped her head. I'll make sure you're not disturbed. Mothflight slipped quietly into her den. Rocky was purring in his sleep, his whiskers twitching as he dreamed. She climbed into her nest, surprised to find fresh heather lining it. Relishing the sweet scent, she curled down and rested her chin on the edge. Through the den entrance, she could see sunlight drenching the camp walls as the night sky paled into dawn. She wondered whether StarClan watched them during the day. Or do they fade with the stars? She pictured the sloping meadows and distant forest of StarClan's hunting grounds. Joy warmed her pelt as she thought of Greywing and Turtletail walking side by side once more. She purred. Tomorrow she'll be traveling with Micah to RiverClan. Was he looking forward to their journey as much as she was? Chapter 18. Jello break. As sunhigh neared, Mothlight pulled a mouse from the prey pile. She wasn't very hungry, but she didn't want her belly rumbling when she met Micah. And who knew what they'd be offered to eat at the RiverClan camp? She shuddered, remembering the toad she'd caught, and hoped there'd be more to eat among the reed beds than river prey.
Thank you for the follow!
She batted past Swift Minnow, who was washing in the long grass beside Reedtail. Jagged Peak and Holly were repairing gaps in their den, while by threading heather, which Eaglefeather and Junose had fetched from the moor, tightly between the stems. Horsefur and Windrunner sat at the edge of the sandy hollow, their heads bent close as they talked. Slate sat beside Fernleaf and Willowtail, blinking in the sunshine, while Blackear, Whitetail, and Silverstripe climbed the gorse wall behind her. Warm prey scent bathed Mothlight's nose as she carried the mouse into the shade of the camp wall, where Dustmuzzle and Spotted Fur were lounging in the thick grass, a half-eaten rabbit lying between them. As she dropped her mouse beside them and bent to take a bite, she noticed Spotted Fur's tail twitching crossly from the corner of her eyes. She ripped a lump of flesh from the mouse and looked at him.
What's up?
She asked, her mouth full. He frowned. Dustmuzzle says you're going to visit RiverClan with Micah. Mothlight swallowed. StarClan wants the medicine cats to learn from each other. Can't you visit RiverClan by yourself? Spotted Fur asked. Ooh, someone's jealous. Micah needs to learn too. Mothlight cocked her head to the side as she chewed. Why was he being so crabby? Why can't you travel with Pebbleheart or Cloudspots? Spotted Fur asked accusingly. Dustmuzzle hooked the rabbit closer with a claw. Mothlight can travel with whomever she likes, he meowed absently. Spotted Fur got to his paws and shook out his pelt. I don't know if spending time with another clan is a good idea. He meowed loudly. Holly glanced over her shoulder, a sprig of heather in her paws. Mothlight stiffened. The Golden Tom was attracting attention from their campmates. Fernleaf jerked her muzzle around. So it's true. You're really gonna visit RiverClan? Yeah. Mothlight shifted on her paws uneasily. Windrunner looked up, eyes narrowing. Is that a good idea? Holly dropped the sprig of heather and headed across the clearing. Rocky's still sick. Reedtail's promised to watch him. Mothlight defended herself. Swift Minnow flashed her mate a look. You didn't tell me. He's not that sick. Reedtail pushed himself to his paws. He's just enjoying his cozy nest in Mothlight's den. Slate's eyes rounded with worry. What if one of my kids gets ill? Silverstripe called down from the gorse wall. We never get sick. Oh,
We never get sick.
but what if you do? Slate fretted. Reedtail will know what to do. Mothlight promised the queen. He probably knows more than I do. Besides, I'm only going to RiverClan. Someone can come and fetch me if you need me. Willowtail's ears twitched. It's just asking for trouble crossing another clan's borders. Pebblepelt invited me. Impatience tightened Mothlight's belly. Willowtail was only trying to make a point because of Redclaw. She felt a surge of anger towards the pale tabby she-cat. With all this talk of borders, she was getting as bad as Clear Sky. Besides, I'm a medicine cat. I'm going there to learn, not to hunt. Windrunner padded to the center of the clearing. StarClan has told the medicine cats to learn from each other. Her gaze swept the clan. Mothflight felt a ripple of relief. Windrunner wasn't going to stand in her way. Gorsefur nodded solemnly. What Mothflight learns from the other medicine cats will help us. Jagged Peak stepped out from the shadow of his den, heather sticking out of his pelt. Mixing with other clans is dangerous. He growled. What? Mothflight bristled. Yeah!
Why? Why? You've lived with the forest cats and on the moor and in the pine marsh with Tall Shadow.
Which means I've learned how important it is to remain in one place. Yeah? Then why did you move? Your loyalty should be with us.
It is with you.
Mothflight snapped. Visiting RiverClan camp won't change that. But you're going because StarClan ordered you to, not Windrunner. Oh, sorry, that's not Windrunner. But you're going because StarClan ordered you to, not Windrunner, Holly chipped in. Are you a WindClan cat or a StarClan cat? What? Girl, I ain't dead. Mothflight stared in dismay at her clanmates. How could any cat doubt her loyalty? Her mother was the clan leader. Windrunner lashed her tail. Stop all this mouse-brain chatter, she growled. I realize that we are not used to having a medicine cat among us, and it feels strange to take orders from spirit cats. But Mothflight only has the good of the clan in her heart. She's gonna learn so that she can take care of us better. She fixed her gaze on Slate. If one of your kits falls ill, wouldn't you want Mothflight to know as much as she can about healing? She turned to Jagged Peak, her gaze hardening. Never suggest that Mothflight's loyalties are divided. She was born a WindClan cat, and, whatever happens, her heart will belong to her clanmates. Mothflight felt a surge of gratitude towards her mother, but Spotted Fur accusing gaze still burned her pelt. She stared at her paws. He's jealous of Micah. Guilt warmed her belly. Was it disloyal of her to like the SkyClan medicine cats so much? Good question. She'd left her mouse and padded across the clearing. I promised I'd meet Micah at Sunhigh. She avoided her clanmate's stares. I don't know when I'll be back, but if there's an emergency, send for me. It's a good question. I think it's only coming from 2 cats right now? Maybe 3? Or like the main push from 3. It is Clear Sky. Clear Sky. Willow. What's her face? Willow something. And Redclaw. Redclaw, like, has been pushed into it, though. He was, like, fine with it, and then all of a sudden, because of Willow, he's like, alright then, whatever. Guess this is what we're doing now. It is quite funny how often they're saying, like, Clear Sky doesn't like being told what to do. It's so funny. Just make him think that it was his idea to begin with. Jello. Ignoring the hushed murmurs behind her, she slid out of camp, relieved to feel the cold wind in her fur. Mothflight headed for the RiverClan border. As she climbed down the steep path that led to the river, she saw Micah seated on a stepping stone. He was silhouetted, still and strong, against the flashing water. He looked up as she neared, and she narrowed her eyes against the glare of the sparkling ripples. Behind him, the river split, cutting through the reed beds to create an island in the middle. She knew from listening to her clanmates that RiverClan made their camp there, and she wondered what it would feel like to be entirely surrounded by water. It's so peaceful here, Micah's purr rumbled over the chattering stream. Mothflight jumped gingerly onto the first stepping stone. Watching the water as it swirled around her, she flinched as a ripple broke over the edge of the stone and splashed her forepaw. Micah purred loudly. You might have to get used to getting your paws wet in RiverClan. I hope not. She shook the water off. It felt good to be away from camp. The new leaf sun warmed her pelt. The river was sheltered from the wind by the forest on one side and the cliffs on the other. Pungent smells filled her nose, and the birds chattered over the babbling of the river. She blinked happily at Micah. Alone here, with him, she didn't need to impress Windrunner, or know how to treat Blackear's bellyache or Stormpelt's itchy ears. She crossed the stepping stones until she reached Micah, then lifted her face to the sun and half closed her eyes. The wind whisked the reed beds on the far shore, stirring the rushes until they rippled like water. Downstream, a black she-cat padded onto the shore. An orange cat passed her, wading into the shallows until the water stream streamed through her belly fur. She dipped her head, then plunged beneath the surface. Mothflight froze. She sank! Micah leaned forward, ears pricked. Wait. He watched the water until suddenly, with a splash, the River Clan she-cat broke the surface a few tail lengths away. A fish clamped between her jaws. She swam back to shore, then hauled herself out and disappeared among the reeds. Her clanmate gave a meow of approval, and followed. Mothflight shivered. Thank you for the follow, T. I hope Dapplepelt doesn't try to teach us how to do that. Micah purred. If she does, you can threaten to teach her how to hunt in your tunnels. I hate tunnel hunting, Mothflight confessed. It's Dustmuzzle's specialty, not mine. You're a medicine cat, Micah reminded her. You have your own skills. Or you have your own special skills. I wish. That's why we came here. Micah jumped onto the next stone and crossed to the far shore. He glanced back at Mothflight. We'll know plenty by the time we leave, but we'd better hurry up. Those cats probably told Dapplepelt we're on our way. Ruefully, Mothflight followed. She wished she could spend all afternoon watching the river with Micah. But he was right. Dapplepelt would be expecting them. She landed on the sandy shore and followed Micah along the trail that wove among the reeds. The earth was muddy and squelched between her claws. As the trail widened, she caught up with Micah. What did Clear Sky say when you told him you were visiting RiverClan? He wasn't happy. Micah kept his gaze fixed ahead. Did he try and stop you? Mothlight scanned Micah's pelt for scratches. He wanted to know why, Micah told her. It took a while to convince him, but that it was good. It was for the good of SkyClan, but in the end he agreed. Windrunner thought you'd never convince him. Mothflight felt a glimmer of satisfaction that Micah had proven her mother wrong. I think Clear Sky likes cats who stand up to him, Micah told her. And it helped that Starflower was there. Since I helped Tiny Branch, she wants me to learn as much as I can, in case Dewpetal or Flowerfoot get sick. How's Tiny Branch's cough? It seems to be getting better one day and worse the next, Micah murmured thoughtfully. I wonder if there's something in the forest that aggravates it. Silverstripe always sneezes when she's been playing near heather flowers, Mothflight commented. Maybe you could follow Tiny Branch for a day and see where he plays? I wish I had time for that, Micah meowed. Clear Sky keeps him busy treating flea bites and gathering herbs. But you have Acorn Fur to help you. Mothflight ignored the jealousy prickling beneath her fur. Couldn't she take your duties for a day? Clear Sky insists she never leave my side when we're on SkyClan territory. Mothflight blinked. Never? Before Micah could answer, the reeds ahead shivered, and a black she-cat slid out and blocked the path. The same one they'd seen on the shore downstream. She eyed Micah and Mothflight suspiciously. What are you two doing here? Hi, Micah greeted her cheerfully. Didn't Dapplepelt warn you? She invited us to come and learn what she knows about healing. Night! A mew sounded further along the trail. Dawn mist appeared from among the rushes. Her orange and white pelt was wet, slicked against her slender frame. Dapplepelt said that if it's Micah and Mothflight, you're to escort them to her den. Night narrowed her eyes. I still think it's a bad idea to let other clan cats into our camp. I think it's also a lot of the cats that were adopted from Slash's camp. They were very territorial already, right? Like, this is our territory. So it makes sense that they kind of like have the same thoughts, even if they don't want to be associated with Slash. It's kind of like in the back of their minds. River Ripple said it's okay, Dawn Mist argued. And they're only medicine cats. What's the worst they can do? Cure you? Night snorted and turned her tail on them. Follow me, she huffed. Mothflight padded beside Micah, following the she-cat along the winding path. Dawn Mist fell in beside her clanmate and glanced over her shoulder. I wish I could visit the other clans, she mewed. I can't imagine what it's like to live on the moor or in the forest. Mothflight's paws slithered in the muddy earth. It's dry, she muttered. As Dawn Mist purred with amusement, the reeds opened up, and Mothflight saw a clearing ahead. Fish scent washed her muzzle as two kits bounded across the sandy soil and bundled into Dawn Mist. Dawn Mist! The gray and white she-kit bounced around the orange queen. Pine Needles ate more of the trout than me.
It's not fair.
The black tomkit dug his paws into the earth.
I did not. She's just being greedy.
Poor Drizzle. Dawn Mist licked the gray she-cat's head. I'll catch another fish soon, she promised.
Can we have one each?
Pine Needle asked. Drizzle blinked eagerly.
I want the biggest one.
You two are greedier than foxes, Dawn Mist purred. She nosed the kits away. Go and play. I'm helping Night show our guests to Dapplepelt's den. Drizzle's eyes opened wide as she spotted Mothflight and Micah.
What are they doing here?
Invasion! Pine Needle fluffed out his fur.
Should I warn River Ripple?
A deep purr rumbled at the side of the clearing. There's no need to warn me. I was expecting them. Mothflight jerked her nose around and saw the River Clan leader sitting in the shade of the reed wall. He stood and crossed the camp, dipping his head as he neared. I'm glad you're here. Dapplepelt is in her den. He pointed his muzzle to the foot of a long dead tree. Its roots snaked into the earth, forming a cave beneath the stump, where countless moons of wind and water had hollowed out the earth. Night flashed Mothflight a look. I hope you can hunt for yourselves, she growled. I'm not feeding Wind Clan or Sky Clan clans. River Ripple blinked calmly at his clanmate. It doesn't matter what clan they're from. Their hunger is no different from yours. True. Night snorted and stalked away. Dawn Mist whisked her tail. Don't worry about her, she whispered to Mothflight. She enjoys being bad-tempered. Drizzle pricked her ears.
Yesterday she said I was as dumb as a water vole, but I'm not. Of course you're not.
Pine Needle's whiskers twitched mischievously.
You're dumber. Hey!
Buffing her fur out indignantly, Drizzle leaped at her brother. Pine Needle ducked out of the way and hared across the camp.
I'll get you for that.
Drizzle hurled after him. When they're not eating, they're fighting. Dawn Mist rolled her eyes. I'd better fetch them more prey. She headed towards a gap in the reeds where the river lapped the edge of the clearing. Without pausing, she slid into the river and disappeared beneath the surface.
Hi, Christian!
Mothflight glanced at Micah. The River Clan cats seemed more like otters than cats. Micah was gazing around the camp. Shattered ice lay in a patch of sunshine at the far end of the clearing. Swift, a dark brown Tom, washed himself beside the camp wall. River Ripple flicked his tail towards Dapplepelt's den. She's been looking forward to your arrival. Micah dipped his head to the River Clan leader and headed towards the tree stump. Mothflight hurried after him, her nose twitching as the stink of fish grew stronger. She could see that the gaps between the roots of Dapplepelt's den had been woven with reeds. Feathers were threaded between them and fluttered in the soft breeze. Dapplepelt stuck her head out from under an arching root. You're here at last, she purred. Come in. I've just finished sorting my herbs. As the River Clan medicine cat ducked back into the shadows, Mothflight followed her down the short slope that led into the den. She shivered. The reed walls screened out the bright sunshine, and the shadows felt cold and damp. Reeds were strewn over the floor. They shifted beneath Mothflight's paws. She blinked, adjusting her eyes to the half-light. You've got plenty of space. She paused in the center and looked around. There was room enough for 4 nests here, though she could only see 2, both woven from rushes. She looked up and saw a shadow where the roof disappeared into the rotting stump. A spider was spinning a web in one of the corners. You'll always have cobwebs to dress wounds, she mewed, delighted. Perhaps I should catch spiders to try to persuade them to nest in my den. Micah slid under the root and padded inside. Does it flood? He glanced over his shoulder. Not unless the whole island floods, Dapplepelt told him. Mothflight blinked, alarmed. Has that ever happened? It happened once, during a storm that came after moons of rain. Dapplepelt patted a stray rush into the nest beside her. River Ripple says if there's rain like that again, we'll shelter in the forest until it passes. Micah was peering into the shadows behind Dapplepelt, where an earth wall formed the back of the den. Is that where you keep your herbs? Mothflight followed his gaze. Small holes had been hollowed from the mud, and green leaves stuck out here and there. There's a different hole for each herb. Dapplepelt's eyes shone proudly. Doesn't the damp air make them rot? Mothflight was... Oh. Doesn't the damp air make them rot? Mothlight was used to dry winds that scoured the moor.
It's air enough, Dapplepelt told her. The breeze from the river keeps it cool, which seems to preserve fresh leaves, and I find that fresh leaves are more effective than dried leaves.
Micah frowned. It's a shame, he murmured. Leaf Bear brings more illness, but by then all we'll have in our supplies are dried leaves.
Seeds and berries keep their strength.
Dapplepelt reached into one of the holes and pulled out a paw full of dark berries. She dropped them at Mothlight's paws. As Dapplepelt drew out one herb after another, telling them where they could be gathered and what they treated, juniper for bellyache, poppy to ease pain, Mothlight tried hard to remember them, sniffing their pungent leaves, rolling their seeds beneath her paws, fixing the scents into her mind. She couldn't wait to get home and start scouring the moor. Micah nosed past Dapplepelt and sniffed a wide, furry leaf. What's this? As Dapplepelt turned to see, a yowl split the air outside the den. Help! Mothlight froze as Night skidded down the slope into the den. Her eyes were wide with terror. You have to come! I just pulled Drizzle from the river. She's not breathing! What the heck? She was alive a second ago! She's drowned? Okay, pause while I eat a cupcake.
Things like this always happen in the warrior cat world. Everything's peaceful, everyone's learning, and then someone almost dies. Or dies.
Nom, 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 nom.
Chapter 19. Dapplepelt darted past her clanmate. Micah hared after her, panic flashing beneath her pelt. Mothlight followed. Dapplepelt was already skidding through a gap in the camp wall as Mothlight reached the clearing. Micah raced at her heels. Mothlight gave chase, blood roaring in her ears. She leaped through the gap and pulled up sharply as the river loomed in front of her. Dawnmist was standing at the water's edge, her eyes hollow with dread. Water dripped from her fur as she trembled like frightened prey. A soddy scrap of fur laid her paws. Literally, it's been like 2 minutes! Drizzle! Mothlight's heart leaped into her throat. Dapplepelt dropped into a crouch beside the unmoving Kit. Micah leaned close. Is she dead? Dapplepelt jerked her nose towards Dawnmist. Keep her warm. She's in shock. Micah hurried to Dawnmist's side and pressed against her. Mothlight's paws seemed frozen to the ground as she stared at Drizzle. The tiny kit's flank wasn't moving. She's not breathing. She stared at Dapplepelt. Why did the River Clan medicine cat look so calm? Dapplepelt's gaze flitted over Drizzle's body. Then she lifted her forepaw and rested them on the she-kit's chest. Mothlight watched, eyes stretched wide as Dapplepelt began pumping the kit with rapid jerks of her paws. What are you doing? How could squishing the poor kit help? Dapplepelt ignored her. She paused and leaned down, sniffing at Drizzle's muzzle. Then straightened, she began to pump the kit's chest again. Drizzle's body shuddered with each jolt, her paws flapping limply, like the paws of a dead rabbit. Dapplepelt paused again and sniffed at Drizzle's nose. Dawnmist let out a low moan. She's dead! No. Dapplepelt growled fiercely. Not yet. Once more, she rested her paws on Drizzle's chest and began pumping. Suddenly, with a splutter, Drizzle jerked and began coughing up water. Dapplepelt quickly rolled the kit onto her side, stroking her chest fiercely as Drizzle brought up more water. Drizzle? Dawnmist's mew was no more than a breath. Drizzle stopped vomiting and blinked at her mother.
What happened?
She croaked weakly. Pine Needle stuck his nose up from behind a clump of reeds.
Is she okay?
His eyes were bright with terror. Dawnmist beckoned him closer. She's fine. She looked anxiously at Dapplepelt. Isn't she? Yes. Now that she's coughed up the water, she'll be able to breathe again. Dapplepelt told her briskly. Mothlight stared at the River Clan medicine cat. She wasn't even trembling. How does she stay so calm?
Pine Needles hurried to his mother's side and pressed against her flank. She wanted to see if she could catch her own fish, but she disappeared under the water, he mewed shakily. I called night when she didn't come up again. She needs to learn to swim before she catches a fish. River Ripple brushed past Mothflight. She spun, her heart lurching at the sight of the river clown leader. She hadn't heard his paw steps. Sneaky, sneaky. He touched his muzzle to Dawn Mist's cheek. Start teaching them as soon as Drizzle has recovered. Dawn Mist met his gaze, her eyes glistening. I wanted to wait until they were stronger. Fish swim the moment they are born, River Ripple murmured. It's never too soon for a River Clan kid to learn. Drizzle pushed herself uncertainly to her paws. Dawn Mist leaned down and lapped her cheek. Let's get you into my nest and warm you up. She nosed the kit towards the clearing. River Ripple ran his tail along Pine Needle's spiked fur. You did well to fetch help. I only called tonight. That was the right thing to do, River Ripple told him. Pine Needle stared at him uncertainly. I shouldn't have let her go into the water. River Ripple touched his muzzle to the kid's head. Sometimes we can't stop others from making mistakes, but we can help them when they do. And that's what you did. Aw, that's a really good quote. Sometimes we can't stop others from making mistakes, but we can help them when they do. Aw, River Ripple, you're so sweet. I need to make like a notebook of cool warrior cat quotes. I'm gonna do that right now, actually. Dots. Blank document. Thank you. Entitled doc. River Ripple. Moth. Lights. Vision. Just for prosperity. He nosed the kid after his muzzle, who was lifting Drizzle into a reed nest on the far side of the clearing. Dapplepelt watched her leader as he guided Pine Needle away. He's so good with kits, she murmured. It's a shame he doesn't have any of his own. Yeah, River Ripple's asexual. Sorry. Mothflight hardly heard her. How did you know what to do? River Ripple taught me, she explained. He's lived near the water all his life, and he knows that you can push water out of a cat's chest as easily as a cat can suck it in. Micah swished his tail through the air. You are fantastic! I thought Drizzle was dead. Dapplepelt gazed at the river as it swirled past. It's a trick every River Clan cat should know. Admiration surged beneath Mothflight's pelt. I hope I'm as calm and skilled as Dapplepelt one day. How must it feel to save another cat's life? She wondered if Half Moon had been watching. I'll try to become as good as she is, she promised silently. Clouds hid the setting sun, a thin drizzle misted the river, and a breeze rustled the reeds around camp. Mothflight shifted closer to Micah as the damp wind licked her pelt. She eyed Night, who was watching them warily from the other side of the clearing. Dawn Mist was still curled into her nest, tucked among the rushes. River Ripple had gone hunting for shrews in the reed beds with Dawn Mist's mate, Swift. Are you sure we should stay the night? Mothflight whispered. Of course. Micah looked up from washing his belly. Look how much we learned today. Tomorrow we'll learn even more. Mothflight was glad he was with her. She liked the River Clan cats, but it felt strange to be away from the hollow. After she'd returned from the valley, she thought she'd never leave her clanmates again. Do you think River Ripple will catch a shrew? She mewed hopefully. Dapplepelt had slipped into the river as the sun began to sink, promising to bring them back a juicy trout. Micah blinked at her. Didn't you want to taste fish? Mothflight wrinkled her nose. She smelled nothing but fish and herbs all afternoon. She was looking forward to tasting the sweet, familiar, fresh flesh of prey with legs. Before she could answer, water splashed behind them, and Dapplepelt waded out of the river. Mothflight's heart sank as she saw a fish between the tortoiseshell's jaws. It thrashed as she padded onto land, its scales glittering in the rain. Dapplepelt stopped in front of them and dropped it to the ground.
Mothflight hopped backwards as it wriggled, spattering mud onto her paws. Purring with amusement, Dapplepelt stilled it with the forepaw and leaned in to give it a killing bite. At least you know it's fresh, she meowed, looking up. Micah glanced at Mothflight. Do you want the first taste? She flattened her ears and sniffed uneasily at the fish. Is this a trout? Dapplepelt's eyes flashed. It's called a chub. Mothflight stifled a shiver. Does it taste anything like toad? No, Dapplepelt snorted. Who eats toads?
They taste like mud.
Micah spluttered. Heat spread beneath Mothflight's pelt. There was no way she was going to tell Micah and Dapplepelt that she'd shared one with Spotted Fur. She touched the chub gingerly with a paw. Micah caught her eye. Do you want to wait to see if River Ripple brings back a shrill? No. Mothflight lifted her chin. She wasn't a coward. Besides, it would be rude to refuse Dapplepelt's gift. I want to taste fish. She leaned down and sank her teeth into the soft flank of the chub, delighted to find the texture meatier than the rubbery toad flesh. As she tore away a chunk, the flavor sang on her tongue. She blinked at Dapplepelt in surprise. It's nice! Chewing, she relished the soft flesh. It tasted of fresh water. It's delicious! Don't tell Windrunner you like River Clan food, Micah joked. He took a mouthful and his eyes brightened as he chewed. Oh, you're right! It's great! As he spoke, River Ripple nosed his way through the reed wall of the camp, a water bowl dangling from his jaws. Swift followed him, carrying a shrew. They stopped when they saw Mothflight and Micah. River Ripple dropped the bowl. You're eating fish. It's tasty. Mothflight ripped off another mouthful. River Ripple nodded towards the shrew dangling from Swift's jaws. You might as well share that with the kits. The dark brown Tom dipped his head and carried his catch towards the nest where Dawn Mist was curled up with Drizzle and Pine Needle. Placing it beside the tightly woven bundle of reeds, he stuck his nose in and nudged Dawn Mist's pelt. She jerked her head up, blinking. How's Drizzle? Swift asked. I'm fine. Drizzle sat up, ears pricked. I smell wool. Pine Needle clambered onto his mother's back and peered from the nest. Nose twitching, his gaze flashed towards River Ripple's catch. He scrambled out of the nest and raced towards it. Can I taste it? He glanced at River Ripple. He glanced at River Clan's leader. Of course. As River Ripple pushed the vole towards Pine Needle, Drizzle leaped from the nest and hurried to her brother's side. I want to taste it too. River Ripple purred. It's good to see you looking better. Drizzle stuck her tail up indignantly. I wasn't sick. I only went for a swim. River Ripple's whiskers twitched. Water beaded along them as the rain grew heavier. He glanced up at the darkening sky. I'm going to my nest. He headed towards a den, woven among the roots of another tree stump. Mothflight felt rain seeping through her pelt. Where should we sleep? She called after the River Clan leader. He paused and nodded towards Dapplepelt's den. Is there enough room in there? Dappleleaf nodded. They can share. Dappleleaf? Dapplepelt. They wrote the name wrong. Incorrect! Mothflight. Oh, they can share the spare nest. As River Ripple disappeared inside his den, Mothflight glanced shyly at Micah. She'd only shared a nest with her brother before. Where's my nature sounds? There they are. Thus Muzzle had always teased her that it was like sleeping next to a badger. I'm afraid I snore. Good. He took another bite of fish. I snore too. Dapplepelt rolled her eyes. Great, she muttered. When they'd finished the chub, she led them into her den. Rain was thrumming the earth as dusk gave way to night, and Mothlight was relieved to slip into the shelter of the tree stump. She crossed the dark den and climbed into the reed nest on the far side, surprised to find the stem silky beneath her paws. All the sharp ends had been carefully tucked underneath so that curling into it felt almost as good as curling into her heather nest at home. She wriggled to one side, leaving room for Micah. He squeezed in beside her. Do you have enough room? Yes. Mothflight purred as Micah's warm pelt pressed against hers. Dapplepelt's golden gaze shone through the darkness. Are you both comfortable? I am, Micah purred. Me too. Mothflight snuggled deeper into the reeds. She yawned, suddenly sleeping. I hope I remember everything I've learned today. You will. Micah shifted beside her, tucking his paws close to his belly. Mothflight blinked at him through the darkness. I don't think I'll ever forget seeing Drizzle come back to life. She was never dead. Dapplepelt meowed across the den. She just needed air in her chest instead of water. Mothflight suddenly remembered her dream of the blue-gray she-cat. She'd come back to life too. Perhaps she hadn't been dead either? Mothflight frowned. But no cat had pumped her chest, and she hadn't coughed up water. Beside her, Micah's breathing began to slow and deepen. He was drifting into sleep. Mothflight rested her muzzle on her paws and watched him. Her fur tingled where his breath stirred her pelt. Gradually, her eyes grew heavy and closed, and darkness swirled around her. They are so in love. They're made for each other. A familiar stone tang touched Mothflight's nose. She opened her eyes as the scent of the moonstone cave washed her tongue. Leaping to her paws, she gazed around. How did I get back? Before she could finish her thought, two cats padded into the cave. A large, dark tabby with the one she'd seen with the gray she-cat the day she'd come back to life, headed for the moonstone, his eyes fixed on the dull rock. He gazed at the hole in the roof, the watery starlight reflecting in his yellow eyes. Mothflight shivered. There was coldness in this Tom's gaze, and a stiffness in his broad shoulders that frightened her. He seemed to be waiting for the moon to light the rock, impatience rippling along his spine. The gray Tom, who'd entered the cave with him, stopped at the dark tabby's side. The tabby jerked his muzzle around, snarling as the gray Tom spoke. There was no friendship between these cats. Then why are they here together? Ah, this is when Tiger Star became Tiger Star. The dark tabby sank stiffly onto his belly and touched his nose to the rock a moment before the moonlight set it alight. Mothflight screwed up her eyes, flinching as brightness blinded her. The stone beneath her paws turned to squelching moss. She blinked open her eyes eagerly. Was she back in StarCloud's hunting grounds? Darkness pressed in every side. She turned her head sharply. Trees loomed around her. This wasn't StarClan's land. She recognized the dark scent of rotting wood, sharpened by the smell of pine sap. This was ShadowClan's territory. Feline shapes moved among the trees, their shadowy pelts glittering with starlight. Spirit cats! She scanned the starry cats, hoping to see a familiar pelt. But these weren't the StarClan cats she knew. Heart racing, she backed away towards the tree, hoping she couldn't be seen. Her fur rippled with fear. These cats moved with solemn purpose, and the dark tabby seemed to be waiting for them, his gaze blazing expectantly in the darkness. Her eyes narrowed as the sparkling Tom approached him. Mothflight saw the spirit cat speak, but she couldn't make out the words. As the Tom stepped away, a small ginger she-cat took his place. The she-cat spoke, and the dark tabby answered, disdain sparkling in his gaze. Doesn't he respect his ancestors? Mothflight leaned closer, pelt prickling with interest. The she-cat reached her muzzle forward and touched the dark tabby's head. The tabby jerked as though agony flared through him. This is like the time I saw the blue-gray cat in the cave. Mothflight remembered her dream. Why did the touch of these spirit cats seem to cause so much pain? Mothflight narrowed her eyes, her breath quickening as one after the other, the spirit cats stepped forward and touched the dark tabby. Each time he stiffened, his pelt spiking, but he did not give ground. He met each new touch, his eyes burning with hunger. Finally, the last spirit cat stepped away, and the dark tabby lifted his muzzle. Mothflight looked into his eyes, searching for some clues as to what the spirit cats had shared with him, but she only saw pride. Around him, the spirit cats' mouths moved. They seemed to be chanting something. Mothflight pricked her ears, trying to make out the words, but she couldn't. One StarClan Tom broke off, his mouth frozen as he stared at the dark tabby. Mothflight swallowed as she saw dread darken the spirit cat's gaze. She jolted awake, cold with fear. Mothflight? Micah jerked his head up as she stared, blinking, around Dapplepelt's den. The sound of his mew soothed her, and she turned and met his gaze. Bad dream? He asked. As she nodded, she leaned forward and touched his muzzle to her cheek. Go back to sleep, he murmured softly. We're safe here. Obediently, she rested her nose on her paws and closed her eyes. She felt his tongue lap her ear, and a weariness muddled her thoughts.
Aww.
It was only a dream. Micah stopped and tucked his muzzle beside hers. These aren't dreams. They're visions. As his breath deepened into gentle snores, worry pulled Mothlight back from the brink of sleep. But what are they about? And why do they make me feel so uneasy? Sadly, there's nothing you can do, Mothlight. That is for future cats to dwell upon. Chapter 20. Early morning light washed the reed beds. The rain that had drenched the camp for the past 2 days had finally lifted, and sunshine was breaking through the clouds. On the other side of the clearing, River Ripple stretched outside his den. Mosstail and Dawn Mist were stirring sleepily in their nests, while Drizzle and Pine Needle charged across the camp, trying to catch each other's tails. Dapplepelt blinked kindly at Mothflight and Micah. I've taught you all I know. Micah whisked his tail. You know lots. I can't wait to use some of the stuff I've learned. Mothflight's pelt prickled with excitement. I hope I can find goatweed on the moor. Goatweed? It was one of the herbs Dapplepelt had shown them. A few leaves, given daily, might lift Slate's grief. Ah, Zoloft. Micah glanced around the River Clan camp. I'm gonna miss it here, he murmured. I was getting used to the sound of the river lulling me to sleep. I was getting used to the sound of your breathing. Mothflight glanced at him shyly. Her own nest would seem chilly without him. Drizzle skidded to a halt between them.
Are you leaving?
Pine Needle stared at Micah with round eyes.
You can't go yet. I haven't taught you how to fish.
Micah nudged the kid's cheek with his nose. You need to learn how to swim first. Pine Needle stuck his chin out.
I swam a whole tail length yesterday.
Drizzle snorted.
With Dawn Mist holding your scruff. At least I didn't try to swallow half the river.
Hush. Dapplepelt silenced Pine Needle with a look. Micah and Mothflight need to return to their clans.
Why can't they stay here with us?
Drizzle mewed. My clan needs me, Micah told her. A twinge jabbed Mothflight's heart. I need you. She pushed the rabbit brain thought away. Mine too. Drizzle's tail drooped. Okay.
Will you come to visit again?
Pine Needle asked. Of course. Mothflight swished her tail. When we have new skills to share. Dapplepelt's eyes shone. I hope it won't be long. Her gaze flitted past them. Mothflight turned, following it. River Ripple was headed towards them. She dipped her head as he neared. Thank you for letting us stay. It was an honor. Micah nudged Mothflight as the River Clan leader blinked at her respectfully. See what happens when you get chosen by StarClan? He teased. I must get back to my herbs. Dapplepelt turned towards her den. They won't sort themselves.
Thanks,
Mothflight called as she disappeared inside. Micah gazed across the reed beds thoughtfully. Do we have to go home right away? Mothflight shot him a look. Don't you want to go back to SkyClan? Eventually. Micah leaned close to her ear. But I like hanging out with you. Yo, he flirting hardcore!
Whispering in her ear?
He whispered. Mothflight snatched her gaze away, her pelt growing hot. I like hanging out with you too, she mumbled. River Ripple looked away. Stop flirting in front of your dad. River Ripple looked away, his whiskers twitching. Mothflight wondered if he'd heard. Perhaps cloud spots can teach you about woodland herbs. River Ripple meowed vaguely as he stared towards the forest. ThunderClan camp isn't far. Micah blinked at him. That's a good idea. It'll be fun, and we can tell Cloudspots what we've learned from Dapplepelt. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. River Ripple kept his gaze on the trees. Mothflight shifted her paws self-consciously. Maybe. She felt guilty about staying away from the moor for so long. And with Micah. But what about Wind Clan? They might need me. River Ripple blinked at her. You've got a whole lifetime to take care of your clan. Have fun while you can. She glanced at Micah. If River Ripple thought visiting ThunderClan was okay, then it must be. Let's do it. Micah purred. Great! River Ripple's tail twitched. Do you want me to show you the way? I miss walking alone with Micah? No. Mothflight told him quickly. We'll find it. I thought you'd say that. A teasing glint flashed in River Ripple's eyes. Mothflight's paws prickled with embarrassment. He had guessed that they wanted to be alone. River Ripple turned his muzzle towards the forest. The camp's in a ravine, he told them. It's hard to see from the top, so follow your noses. Micah dipped his head and padded towards the camp entrance. Thanks. Yes, thank you, River Ripple. Mothflight called as she hurried after Micah. They followed the trail through the reeds until it opened into the riverbank. Mothflight could see the stepping stones, which crossed to the tree-lined shore beyond. She trotted happily towards them. Dapplepelt had led her over them so many times in the past few days that she no longer thought twice about getting her paws wet. She knew the stretch of river and the herbs that grew along it as well as she knew the moor top. She beat Micah to the first stone and bounded across. Landing at the far side, her chest bursting with happiness. She purred as Micah landed beside her. Which way now? Micah gazed among the trees, narrowing his eyes as he scanned the shadows. I don't know this part of the forest. Let's explore together. Mothflight marched from the shore and hopped over an oak root jutting from the ground. She brushed past a fern, its fresh leaves glowing in the dappled light that glittered through the canopy. Musty scents bathed her muzzle, and, for the first time since leaving the moor, she smelled mouse. Her belly rumbled. They hadn't eaten since last night, when Mosstail had brought them a trout. She longed to taste furry prey again, and she scanned the undergrowth, hoping to catch sight of movement among the leaves. We mustn't hunt, Micah reminded her. His nose was twitching. Can't you smell the border scents? Mothflight had been too busy sniffing for prey. She lifted her muzzle and breathed in the scent of ThunderClan cats. Perhaps we can catch a fish? I'm sure River Ripple won't mind. Her belly growled again. Can you swim? Micah stared at her. No. Mothflight glanced back at the river, but sometimes they come close to the shore. We might be able to wade in and grab one. Or we could wait here for a bird to fly into our paws. Mothflight lifted her tail and brushed past Micah huffily. It was just a suggestion. He purred and patted after her. I love your suggestions. Mothflight tried not to purr. Micah was so sweet. He fell into step beside her. Let's find the camp. Hopefully ThunderClan will share their prey. Mothflight followed Micah, pelt prickling uneasily. Had Cloudspots warned Thunder that StarClan wanted the Medicine Cats to share their knowledge? She knew that ThunderClan leader was Clearsky's son. Did that mean he'd be as suspicious as SkyClan's leader? No. They followed a rabbit trail between brambles and bracken as the forest floor rose beneath their paws. It steepened as the trees grew thicker, the shadows deepening around them. Do you know where you're going? She asked Micah hopefully. No. Micah scrambled over a rotting log and paused on the other side. Mothflight dropped down beside him and gazed between the trees. They seemed to stretch on forever, sunlight piercing the leaves here and there, illuminating spots of woodland with brilliant shafts of light. She pointed her nose towards a thick path of brambles some way ahead. Do you think that could be the camp? Well, let's check. Micah headed towards it, stumbling as a root tripped him. Mothflight steadied him with her muzzle. I thought you were used to forests, she teased. I'm used to farms, Micah reminded her. I don't know if I'll ever stop stubbing my paws on roots. Of course you will. You just need... Mothflight yelped as she trod on a patch of young nettle. Pain shot through her paws and she hopped clear, lifting it protectively. Wait. Micah glanced at the nettles, then began to scan the forest floor, his eyes lighting up. He dashed towards a clump of leaves sprouting beside an ash. Tearing one off with his teeth, he carried it back to Moth Flight. She stared at it. What's that? Doc. Micah laid it upside down on the ground in front of her. Rub your paw on it. Mothflight pressed her throbbing pad into the soft leaf. Rub it hard, Micah urged. Mothflight squashed the leaf beneath her paws until she felt its juices bathe the sting. To her surprise, the pain eased. That's great! She stared at Micah with round eyes. I learned it from Cow, Micah told her. I wonder if Doc grows on the moor, Mothflight murmured. A deep mew sounded from between the trees. If nettles grow there, Doc won't be far. Mothflight jerked around, her heart lurching. Micah flattened his ears warily. Don't worry, it's only me. The black tom patted from the shadows. Cloud spots! Relief washed Mothflight's pelt. Are you too lost? The ThunderClan medicine cat stopped beside them. We've come to visit you, Mike explained. Cloudspot sniffed them, his nose wrinkling. How was your stay with RiverClan? Dapplepelt taught us so much, Mothflight told him eagerly. We've come to share what we learned. Micah lifted his tail, and hopefully learn some more. Mothflight blinked at Cloudspots. Will Thunder let us stay? Of course. Cloudspots flashed Micah a playful look. He doesn't want SkyClan's medicine cat knowing more than his. Micah purred. He sounds like Clear Sky. Perhaps, Cloudspots conceded, but he also wants to please Darkland. Micah's whiskers twitched. I'm not sure Clear Sky cares much about what StarClan thinks, but he cares about his clan. Cloudspots dipped his head. He's become a worthy leader. Mothflight looked towards the bramble thicket. Are we near the camp? It's not far, Cloudspots told her. I'm headed back there once I've collected some borage leaves. Mothflight gazed at him blankly. What's borage? I'll show you. Cloudspots led them along the winding track through the break-in, stopping as the trees thinned. In the patchy sunlight beyond, green plants crowded the forest floor. Their soft leaves looked furry, and buds showed at the top of each stem. By Greenleaf, this patch will be purple with flowers. Mothflight patted among the stems, breathing in the zesty perfume. She stopped and touched her nose to a leaf, surprised by its softness. What's it for? The leaves help soothe bad bellies, Cloudspots told her, and relieve tight chests. They can also help nursing queens to make more milk for their kits. Micah weaved among the stems. Is someone ill? Milkweed just had kits. More kits? Oh my god, she had babies with leaf. Oh, they were enemies to lovers, for real. Me too. I love me a good enemies to lovers. I'm gonna change Snickle Fritz's look, actually. I want to give him the neck ruffle. Do I want the double? No, I think I like the sprinkles. I'll keep the sprinkles on him. Hi, Melody! Thank you! Miskakatuba, magicatuba, dippity boppity bee. Put it together and what do you get? Dippity boppity bippity boppity. My throat is starting to hurt a little bit, so we might have to end a tiny bit earlier. But I think I'm gonna read at least up to 300. Hi, Joey! I hope you enjoy your glowing white roses. Mothflight blinked. New Leaf seemed to bring kits like it brought fresh leaves. She wondered if any of the Wind Clan cats were expecting. Micah ran his paw over a borage leaf. Doesn't she have enough milk? I'm just making sure, Cloudspots told him. Milkweed's not as young as she used to be. She had her first litter many moons ago, before she joined the clan. Is Leaf the father? Mothflight tipped her head, curious. She'd seen Leaf and Milkweed at gatherings. They'd always stayed close, watching each other with a fondness she'd only seen between her mother and Gorsfur. Yes, Cloudspots purred. Knew it. Mothflight reached out a paw and tore a borage leaf from its stem. The best leaves grow halfway up the stem, Cloudspots told her. Not too tough or old enough to have plenty of sap. Mothflight chose another leaf close to the middle of the plant. Like this one? That's great. Cloudspots picked a leaf from the plant beside him and laid it on the ground. Together they picked enough to make a small pile. Then Cloudspots rolled them into a tight bundle and clasped it between his jaws. He headed away through the trees. Mothflight followed, Micah on her tail. They pushed past the brambles and headed across the clearing. Cloudspots slowing as the forest sloped upward. He flicked his tail sharply, his ears twitching a warning. Mothflight halted as the medicine cat stopped and looked down. She followed his gaze, amazed to see the land drop away into a steep ravine. Spindly trees and bushes crowded the bottom. Is the camp down there? Yes. Cloudspots placed his bundle on the ground. Follow my route down the cliff, and watch closely where I put my paws. Some of the ledges are narrow. Picking up the wad of borage, she scrambled down into a wide shelf, then hopped onto a narrow jutting stone. Mothflight glanced nervously at Micah. Trust your paws, he told her. They led you to the moonstone. Slithering onto the first ledge, he followed Cloudspots. Mothflight ignored her pounding heart and jumped down after him. Hi, it's Pursnaps. Is this Pursnaps from before? Another Pursnaps? Pursnaps, another Pursnaps? I was on the wrong account before. Hello, welcome! She landed clumsily and set grit showering down. Sorry, she called as it sprayed Cloudspots and Micah. Micah shook the dirt from his pelt. Don't worry. Carefully, Mothflight leapt down onto the next ledge, unsheathing her claws to help her grip. Fear sparked beneath her pelt as she hopped from rock to rock until at last she was at the ground below. She landed on the smooth earth beside Micah, limp with relief. But there was still no sign of the camp. A large gorse bush blocked their way. She scanned it, searching for an entrance, but it was only when Cloudspots slid among the dark green branches that she saw it. She followed Micah through, aware of the high cliffs and the thick bushes looming on every side. It was different from the airy RiverClan camp. As she emerged from the gorse, she blinked, surprised to see a grassy clearing. Bushes encircled it, and a wide thicket of bramble crowded one end, while a great rock towered at the other. On the far side, a cliff showed amid burgeoning ferns, and on the other side, a rotting tree lay, bark crumbling around it. Cloudspots headed for the brambles, while Micah paused in the clearing. Mothflight stopped beside him. She could smell ThunderClan scents. They clung to the grass and drifted every bush, but there was no sign of any cat. Where is every cat? Hunting! Cloudspots called over his shoulder before disappearing among the bramble stems. I'm not. A croaking mew sounded from the shadows beneath the jutting branch of a fallen tree. A skinny white Tom crept out. Mothflight recognized Pink Eyes. She'd seen him at her first gathering. He blinked through sunlight shifting past the thick canopy. Is he blind now?
Thank you for the follow speed.
The Tom was squinting, as though trying to make them out. It's me, Mothflight, she patted closer. I'm WindClan's medicine cat. Pink Eyes interrupted. You don't need to tell me who you are. The clan has been gossiping about you since you came back from the High Stones. Talking of spirit cats. Mothflight hesitated. The clan's gossiped about her? She shifted her paws self-consciously as Pink Eyes went on.
Thank you! I like your name. And I like your icon too.
You told Cloudspots to be our medicine cat, so now he wants me to eat herbs, he muttered peevishly. He thinks he can cure my aches and pains, but you can't cure old age. Cloudspot squeezed out from the bramble. I can try, he called to Pink Eyes. I'd rather you brought me fresh vole every day.
I laggy.
Pink Eyes huffed. Cloudspots flashed Moth the Flight an exasperated look. It's my job to take care of you. A young orange and white sheep kit, who looked about 3 moons old, slid out from the brambles and raced towards the old Tom.
Pink Eyes! Shall I fetch fresh moss for your bedding?
A dappled gray tomcat chased after her.
I'll help you. Mount Apple Blossom. Hello!
He stopped as he saw Mothflight and Micah and blinked at them in surprise.
Are these the visitors you told Milkweed about?
He asked Cloudspots. Yes, Mothflight and Micah.
Hi!
Apple Blossom dipped her head and then looked at Cloudspots.
Can we go gather moth for Pink Eye's bed?
Pink Eyes snorted. I don't need my nest stuffed with damp moths. Apple Blossom lifted her tail.
We'll lay it in the sun to dry first.
She flicked her muzzle towards the dappled gray tomcat.
Snailshell says he found a patch of the softest moss ever.
The tomcat nodded.
We can fetch it now.
You still have your old books of the series? I feel like... Was it you? I think you sent... Hold on. Someone said that they sent a bunch... their pictures in the Discord recently. Was that not you? Nah, that wasn't you. Whoa! Happenstance. Oh yeah, that was Pancake. Wow. How far did you read into it? The tomcat nodded.
We can fetch it now.
Cloudspots frowned. Is it far from camp? Snailshell shook his head.
It's at the top of the ravine.
And I don't even know. I'm gonna go grab my old books now, though.
Nice.
Probably the first series, then. Apple Blossom blinked hopefully at the ThunderClan medicine cat.
We won't be gone long.
Cloudspots tipped his head. Be careful climbing down. It's hard to see where you're putting your paws with a mouthful of moss. Apple Blossom hared towards the gorse barrier.
We won't fall.
Snailshell chased after her, disappearing through the gap in the dark green branches. Pink Eyes rolled his eyes dramatically. Between swallowing herbs and having my nest cleaned out, I don't get a moment's peace. Cloudspots purred. And don't forget all the kit watching you do, he teased. Kit watching? Pink Eyes grunted. I suppose I feel useful helping out Gooseberry and U-Tail. Makes the new family feel welcome. But Apple Blossom and Snailshell hardly need me anymore. Shivering Rose, Hazelburrow, and Morningfire will... Well, as soon as they're big enough to leave the den. Mothflight pricked her ears. If Apple Blossom and Snailshell belong to a new family, then the kits Cloudspots just mentioned must be...
Are they Milkweed's kits?
Cloudspots nodded, glancing towards the bramble bush. Do you want to see them? Yes. Though Mothflight was more interested in finding out if Milkweed had eaten the borage Cloudspots had taken her, she followed the ThunderClan medicine cat towards the tangle of brambles that spilled from one edge of the clearing. As she neared, she saw a small entrance hollowed among the stems. Cloudspots stuck his nose in. Milkweed! Mothflight's here. May she see your kits? Of course. A gentle mew sounded from inside. Mothflight glanced at Micah, standing in the clearing. Can Micah come? Micah shrugged. Cal always told me to leave a queen and her kits to themselves. I'll keep Pink Eye company. He meowed. He must have plenty of stories to share. Pink Eye's tail twitched. I don't see why a young Tom like you would be interested, but okay. Cloudspots wriggled through the bramble and Mothflight followed. She was surprised to find herself in a wide hollowed wall with by prickly stems. Sunlight speared through the gaps in the branches. "How did you make this den?" she asked, gazing around. Carefully, Cloudspots purred. 3 wide nests, woven from twigs and lined with moss, sat on a dry earth floor. A splotchy ginger and black she-cat gazed with amber eyes from one. 3 tiny kits squirmed at her belly, their eyes closed. The warm scent of milk touched Mothflight's nose. One of the kits began mewling as another pushed away from his mother's soft flank. Milkweed quickly scooped him near with a paw. "That's Hazelburrow," she purred. "Shivering Rose and Morning Fire are always stealing his milk, and he's going to grow into a handsome Tom, just like his father." "They're all beautiful." Mothflight gazed at the black and white tomkit, happy now as he nursed at Milkweed's belly. Shivering Rose nudged in beside him, her black pelt as fluffy as an owl chick's, while Morning Fire squirmed closer, her dark brown fur camouflaged among the shadows. Morning Fire's a good name.
We're late to the reading sesh! That's okay.
Mothflight glanced towards the empty nest on the other side of the den. It smelled warm. "Is that Apple Blossom and Snail Shell's nest?" "They share that with their mother, Gooseberry," Cloudspots told her. "There's hardly room for them anymore," Milkweed commented, "but there may be more space soon. The 3rd nest belongs to Violet Dawn, and I think she wants to move to Thunder's Den."
Oh, snap!
Mothflight knew that Violet Dawn was a sleek, dark gray she-cat who joined ThunderClan several moons ago. Thunder had taken her as his mate. Cloudspots narrowed his eyes thoughtfully. "Perhaps they should be building new nests instead of collecting moss for pink eyes." A hoarse mew sounded outside the den. "Do you want me to go scavenging for my own bedding?"
Hi, Jarn. Hi, Jake Fox.
Cloudspots purred. "Pink Eyes may still be weak, but his hearing is as sharp as ever." He nodded towards the den entrance. "Let's leave Milkweed to rest." "Have you given her the borage?" Mothflight asked. Cloudspots nodded to a pile of leaves beside her nest. She's had 1 leaf, and I'm leaving the rest in case she needs more." "Take some of your store," Milkweed told him. "I won't need it all." Cloudspots glanced at the kit suckling happily in her belly and nodded. "Okay." He grabbed a few leaves from the pile and nosed his way out of the den. "Thanks for letting me see your kids," Mothflight mewed gratefully to the queen. Milkweed purred. "There's nothing better than being a mother." I guess." Mothflight shrugged, wondering what could be better than roaming the moor alone, searching for new plants. She couldn't imagine being responsible for cats too helpless to look after themselves. But isn't that what a medicine cat has to do? Her belly tightened as she followed Cloudspots into the clearing. Then she saw Micah. Sorry. Her belly tightened as she followed Cloudspots into the clearing. Then she saw Micah. He looked so handsome. A pool of sunshine creeping slowly across his flank. He was lying beside Pink Eyes, his attention fixed on the old Tom as he listened. "A squirrel was near the top of the tree," Pink Eyes rumbled, but I wasn't gonna let it get away. I followed it up. Then, just as I scrambled onto the highest branch, there was..." The old Tom broke off and snapped his gaze towards the gorse. A moment later, the barrier trembled and Thunder padded into camp. Lightning Tail trotted at his heels. The ThunderClan leader's orange pelt glowed in the dappled sunlight. A rabbit hung from his jaws. Owl Eyes and Leaf followed, carrying prey. "A good hunt, I see." Cloudspots nodded towards the rabbit. Thunder dropped his catch. "Just wait until Greenleaf." His gaze slid towards Mothflight. Micah scrambled to his paws and shook out his dusty pelt. I hope you don't mind." Thunder dipped his head to Mothflight. "We are honored by your visit." He turned to Micah. "How's Clear Sky?" "He's fine." Complains about his bedding being replaced, complains about not getting... Just like an old man. Perfect. Lightning Tail grunted. Does he still think he's the best cat in the forest? He knows his strengths, Micah answered diplomatically. Thunder snorted. I bet he likes you.
He will.
Micah answered. Eventually. Leaf was headed for the nursery. Is Milkweed okay? He called to Cloudspots. She's fine. Allies glanced towards the gorse barrier. Violet Dawn asked me if you have any Sherville. She's had a bellyache all morning. Where is she? Cloudspot's eyes darkened with worry.
She stopped to help Apple Blossom and Snail Shell gather moss, Allies told him. Hi, White Rabbit.
I'll get some for her, Cloudspots meowed. There's plenty in the forest. Micah narrowed his eyes. Don't you keep any in your store? Cloudspot shrugged. It's better to pick fresh leaves this time of year, he explained. I'll gather some to dry for my store in Lake Greenleaf when it's starting to die back. Paw steps sounded beyond the gorse barrier, and Thistle and Clover pushed their way into camp. They were dragging a fat wood pigeon between them. Thunder swished his tail. You managed to get it down the cliff! Clover sniffed. Thistle threw it over the edge and we hauled it from the bottom. Mothflight glanced at the battered bird, its wings splayed awkwardly. Feathers speckled the ground around it. It was a good thing no one was underneath.
Thistle sniffed. Any cat who can't hear a pigeon bouncing down the cliff needs his ears checked.
Micah's eyes flashed with amusement. It looks like it hit every ledge on the way down. Pink Eyes patted to the pigeon and sniffed it. At least it'll be tender. So true, Pink Eyes. Cloudspots nodded towards the ferns. Do you want to... Want to see my den before I go and gather Sherville? Sherville? Mothlight nodded eagerly and followed as Cloudspots headed across the clearing and pushed through the tunnel of ferns. Mothlight glanced at Micah as he stopped beside her. You go first. The yellow Tom dipped his head and nosed his way after Cloudspots. Mothlight followed, padding through the fern tunnel, her belly fluttering with excitement. She could already smell Cloudspots' herbs. A small clearing opened ahead, edged by a cliff that stretched towards the top of the ravine. Water trickled down the rock, pooling at one edge, and a crack opened in the stone. Mothflight padded towards it and sniffed, her nose twitching as the pungent herb scents grew stronger. Do you keep all your stores in there? She peered into the darkness. Cloudspots brushed past her and reached into the crack. It's the crack from ThunderClan, way back in the future. Cloudspots brushed past her and reached into the crack. He pulled out a wad of leaves, neatly bundled and tied with grass. He opened it and spread the herbs over the den floor. Mothlight glanced at them, hoping to recognize one, but they were forest herbs, lush and dark and musty smelling. This is comfrey. Cloudspots pulled the largest leaf closer. I keep a few leaves in my store in case Pink Eyes is wakened in the night by aches, but the forest is full of it, and I like to gather it fresh each day and line his nest with it. What does it do? Micah sniffed the furry leaf. It eases the pains in his joints, Cloudspots told him. Can you eat it? Mothflight asked. Yes, but wrapping sore limbs in the leaves work just as well, Cloudspots told her. I've heard it helps broken limbs to heal, though I've not yet to try it. The ferns rustled and Leaf padded into the den. Milkweed's thirsty, he mewed. Cloudspots shirked his muzzle around. I'm sorry, I meant to give her fresh moss. Mothflight frowned, puzzled. How could moss help with thirst? I'll take it to her. Leaf padded towards the water pooling beside the rock. He hooked a lump of moss from the heap, piled at one edge, and dipped it in the water. He let it soak for a few moments, then grabbed it between his jaws and carried it, dripping, towards the fern tunnel. Was it not in this book that Mothflight drank water from moss? I feel like that was like during her trip or something, or maybe that was just her drinking from water. I don't know. As he disappeared, Mothflight, or maybe it was Greywing? She def did. As he disappeared, Mothflight blinked. She laps water from the moss. Had she seen Redtail soaking moss in puddles on the moor? She must ask him when she got back.
Thank you for the follow, Toasty!
It was a great idea. Sick cats could stay in their nests and rest instead of roaming the moor in search of a drink. They've definitely done this before. Cloudspots gathered up his herbs. I'd better get that chervil for Dawn, Violet Dawn. Come with me, I'll show you some other herbs you might find useful. Great! Micah lifted his tail. Happiness fizzled between Mothflight's fur. She was going to return to WindClan knowing so much. Cheerfully, she followed Micah and Cloudspots out of the den. An owl hooted at the top of the ravine. Mothflight huddled closer to Micah, searching for a glimpse of the moon through the canopy of trees. Thunder had offered them a nest beside the fallen tree. She could hear Pink Eyes snoring a tail length away and smell the comfrey lining his nest. The forest was black with shadow. She was used to the moor, washed silvery by moonlight. Countless scents, made richer by a heavy dew, filled her nose. Trying to ignore the pressing darkness, she recalled the plants Cloudspots had shown them, murmuring their names under her breath. Coltsfoot, Goldenrod, Feverflu, Catchweed. Can't you sleep? Micah whispered in the darkness. I don't want to forget anything, Mothlight told him. Micah nuzzled her ear. I'll show us again tomorrow, he promised. You'll remember. Don't worry. I hope so. Go to sleep, Micah murmured. It'll be a busy day, and tomorrow might be even busier. Or it's been a busy day. Mothlight closed her eyes and nestled against his thick fur. It was cozy here. Snail Shell and Apple Blossom had brought back so much moss that there was enough to line their own nest. Micah's warm scent seeped into her thoughts as she slipped into sleep. She purred contently. She could easily get used to sleeping beside him every night. Oh!
My nose is very itchy. I don't know why it's itchy, but it is so itchy. Do 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 beep beep.
Chapter. Okay, I think one more chapter will get us to 300. If not, well, oh well. Chapter 21. Mothlight slept. As Micah's soft breath washed her muzzle, she dreamed. Four kits squirmed between them in a sunny nest. Happily, she nuzzled the strong top kit clambering over her flank. Dang! She's having a dream about him. Look, Micah, he's as handsome as you. She turned to meet Micah's loving gaze, but he'd gone. Alarm spiked through her pelt. Micah, where are you? She was suddenly alone in her nest, cold air flooding around her. Kits? Panic surged through her. She leaped to her paws and stared into the shadows, closing fast around the nest. Straining to see, she searched for Micah and her kits. Where did you go? Mothflight! A voice called her name. Micah, is that you? She struggled awake. Mothflight! Bleary with sleep, she struggled free of her dream. She could feel Micah warm against her. She shook her head, clearing her thoughts. She was in ThunderClan camp. Soft dawn light crept into the shelter of the fallen tree where they'd made their nests. Mothflight! Someone was calling her from the clearing. I'm coming! She scrambled onto her paws and hurried up. Spotted first stood in the middle, gazing desperately around. His ears pricked as he saw her. There you are! What's happening? Fear stabbed her belly. What had sent him here at dawn? You said you'd be with RiverClan. There was reproach in his mew. River Ripple told me you were here. His gaze flicked past her as fur brushed beneath the jutting branch of the fallen tree. Micah? Spotted First hackles lifted as the yellow tom slid out behind Mothflight. Mothflight flicked her tail impatiently. What's happened? The WindClan Tom looked away from Micah. Rocky's sick! Mothflight frowned. Is he coughing again? No, Spotted Fur told her. He's burning hot and he's talking nonsense. Has he been eating catmint? Retail says he's only had tansy, Spotted Fur told her. Thunder slid from the lichen draping the entrance to his den. What's going on? He stared at Spotted Fur. We need moth flight, Spotted Fur told him. Around the camp, cats were beginning to stir. Apple Blossom peeked out of the bramble den. Lightning Tail ducked from under a spreading yew leaf at his tail. Lightning Tail narrowed his eyes as he saw Spotted Fur. How did you find your way into the camp? How do you think I did? Spotted Fur snorted. I followed my nose, of course. Do you think ThunderClan paw prints don't smell? Thunder stepped forward, his ears twitching crossly. You're disturbing my clan. I'm just here to fetch Mothflight. Spotted Fur glared at the ThunderClan leader. One of our campmates is sick. We need her. Heat washed Mothflight's pelt. Did Spotted Fur have to be rude? Thunder and his clanmates had been so kind. Cloudspots nosed his way from the ferns, a roll of herbs dangling from his mouth. He crossed the clearing and dropped them at Mothflight's paws. Take these, he told her. They're some of the herbs we gathered. They might be some help. Mothflight blinked at him gratefully, then dipped her head to Thunder. Thank you for letting us stay. Thunder's eyes glowed with warmth. Send my regards to Windrunner and Gorsefur. I will. She snatched up the herb bundle and headed for the gorse barrier. Spotted Fur followed. Wait for me! Micah hurried after them. Spotted Fur glanced at the yellow tom. We don't need you. I do. Mothflight grunted crossly, the herb bundle muffling her mew. 2 medicine cats are better than 1, Micah insisted. Spotted Fur shot Mothflight a glance. He must have seen the anger in her gaze. Okay, he snapped, ducking through the gorse barrier. I guess you can come too. Great! See you soon, Cloudspots! Micah called over his shoulder. Take care of Pink Eyes! Mothflight followed Spotted Fur out of camp and stopped at the bottom of the cliff. Spotted Fur was already scanning the rock face. Follow me. He hopped onto the lowest ledge and began to lead a wet... Where was I? Spotted Fur was already scanned... Blah, blah. He hopped onto the lowest ledge and began to lead a winding route up the cliff. By the time they reached the Wind Clan camp, Mothflight was out of breath. Her tongue burned with herb juices that had seeped out as she gripped the bundle between her jaws. They'd haired over the last stretch of grass and burst into the hollow as the sun lifted above the distant forest. Sunshine flooded the clearing. Mothflight raced towards her den. She could hear Micah's paws thrumming behind her. Gorsefur watched them pass, surprise glittering in his eyes. Dustmuzzle and Willowtail leaped to their paws. Jagged Peak stared from his den, Holly pacing the shadows behind. Mothflight felt her pelt prickle as their gaze followed Micah. Why did they look so uneasy? Wait! Windrunner's yowl sounded across the camp, staring at Micah. What's he doing here? Mothflight dropped the herbs. He's come to help. I thought I told you I didn't want him in the camp, Windrunner halted. Mothflight faced her. Rocky's sick and Micah's a medicine cat. Windrunner didn't blink. Can't you heal him by yourself? I don't know. Mothflight held her ground. She fought the urge to drop her gaze as Windrunner glared at her. Rocky needed help. Windrunner's tail twitched ominously. There was an incident while you were away. Mothflight tensed. What happened? A moor rabbit was found in SkyClan's territory, Windrunner told her. Micah pricked his ears. Windrunner met his gaze accusingly. Clearly, your clan is stealing prey from our land. Micah shrugged. How do you know it just didn't stray across the border by itself? Windrunner lashed her tail. Willowtail said she'd seen SkyClan cats on the moor earlier. Micah flashed a look at the pale tabby she-cat, who watched through narrowed eyes from beside Dustmuzzle. That doesn't prove anything. It proves SkyClan can't be trusted, Windrunner snarled. Mothflight stepped between her mother and Micah. I trust Micah, she growled. I need his help. Windrunner's ears twitched. One day you're gonna have to stand on your own 4 paws. One day I will, but not today. Mothflight grabbed the herb bundle and marched into her den, Micah at her heels. Inside, Rocky was shivering in his nest. His matted fur clung to his frame. He looked old and weak. Mothflight's heart quickened. Reedtail and Swiftminnow crouched beside him. How long has he been like this? Mothflight asked Reedtail. He took a turn for the worst last night. The old Tom withered in the heather, his eyes rolling. When's the, when will Leaf Bear end? He gasped. It's so cold. How did he get so sick? Is he dying? Thoughts racing, Mothlight dropped the herbs and thrust her muzzle close to his. Warmth pulsed from his nose. Panic flashed through her. What do I do first? Words came. We need to cool him down. Dapplepelt had warned her that fevers could be deadly. She turned to Swift Minnow. Go and find as much moss as you can. Carry and soak it in a puddle and then bring it back. I'm so cold. Rocky's teeth chattered as Swift Minnow raced from the den. What can I do? Reedtail asked. Go with her. Don't you need me here? Reedtail frowned anxiously. I've got Micah, Mothlight told him. We've learned a lot since we left. Reedtail nodded and headed out of the den. Mothlight hooked a claw through the grass stem and gripped her bundle and snapped it open. The leaves unrolled and herb scents bathed her nose. She stared at them, panic prickling her paws. Which one is which? What are they for? Her thoughts whirled as she desperately tried to recall Cloudspot's training. Come on, she hissed to herself under her breath. Remember! Micah's pelt brushed hers. Feverfew might help, he murmured. Feverfew. Of course, but which one is it? She scanned the leaves, her thoughts tumbling over one another. Then she recognized the delicate scalloped leaves that Cloudspots had helped her pick yesterday. Rocky, she spoke to the Tom sternly, hoping he'd understand. I need you to swallow some leaves, okay? He stared at her through clouded eyes, shivering. Do you think you can do that? If Rocky chewed them and spat them out, they'd be wasted. She'd have to return to the forest to fetch more, but there wasn't time. Rocky stared at her blankly. Micah leaned forward and rested his muzzle on Rocky's head. Just like eating prey, he murmured softly. Rocky grew still. I like eating prey, he echoed. Mothlight lifted the feverfew to Rocky's lips with a hooked claw. Just swallow these and you'll feel a bit better. Micah lapped the old Tom's head. Just a few leaves, he soothed. Obediently, Rocky nibbled on the herb from Mothlight's claws. Come on, Micah urged gently. They'll go down easy. Relief washed Mothlight's pelt as Rocky lapped the leaves down. She stared gratefully at Micah.
I'm happy!
Thank you. Sick cats are like kits, he told her. A little gentleness goes a long way.
Thank you for the follow, Scotty!
Mothlight gazed at Rocky as he slumped deeper into his nest. What's wrong with him? He's not coughing anymore. Listen to his chest, Micah suggested. Even when Tiny Branch stopped coughing, I could hear him wheezing inside. Mothlight leaned into the nest, relieved to feel less warmth seeping from Rocky's pelt. At least the feverfew was working. She pressed her ear to his ribcage and listened. It sounded as though water was bubbling up inside. She sat up, alarmed. He's drowning, like Drizzle! Micah's eyes widened. He can't be. He hasn't swallowed any water. There's water in his chest, Mothlight gasped. I can hear it. Micah leaned down and listened, his eyes dark with worry as he straightened. There must be an infection inside. Mothlight's belly felt hollow. What can we do? She stared desperately at Micah. Then she remembered what Cloudspots had told them on their way home from the Moonstone. The tree! She stared at Micah. The one with the oozing sap! On your territory! Of course! Micah lifted his tail. Cloudspot said it'll cure any cough. Surely it would cure Rocky's chest infection. Do you know where it is? Yes! You're brilliant! Mothlight pressed her muzzle against Micah's cheek, purring. She drew back. Where is it? He nodded. I took Acorn for looking for it. It wasn't hard to find. The sap smells as strong as pine, but sweeter. Is it maple? We must go there now. Mothlight's paws itched. We? Micah hesitated. Perhaps I should go alone. Windrunner won't want you going in SkyClan's territory. I'm coming with you. She had to see where the tree was. One day her clan might depend on it. And Rocky needed it now. She lifted her chin. Windrunner wasn't going to stop her from being the best medicine cat she could be. We won't tell Windrunner where we're going. Let's hurry. She glanced at Rocky, who was worryingly still, his flanks hardly moving. Micah followed her gaze, then nodded. Come on. He harried her out of the den. Mothlight raced after him. They crossed the clearing in a few bounds. Where are you going? Dust Muzzle's mew echoed after them as they headed through the entrance.
We won't be long.
Mothflight called back evasively. They raced down the moor side, Mothflight taking the lead and burning trails through the heather. She reached the Sky Clan border, her chest on fire. Which way? Micah pelted past her. Follow me. Mothflight chased him through the walls of fern and around a clump of brambles. He cleared a rotting log in one bound. She scrambled over it and kept running, digging into her paws to catch up as he disappeared over a rise. She followed, her heart lurching as the ground opened into a ditch. Her forepaws slipped over the edge. She pushed hard with her hind legs and soared over the gap. Landing heavily, she sent leaves swirling behind her. Micah was still running, and she chased after him, determined not to lose sight. He swerved past an ancient oak and followed a gully that cut into a glade. The trees thinned and sunlight streamed in. Bluebells misted the ground, turning the forest floor purple. This is it! Micah slowed and circled a tall tree at the bottom of the glade. The bark at the base is too old, he meowed. I'll have to climb to the top where there are tender stems. Mothlight scrambled to a halt, her heart pounding. It's so tall! Can you climb trees? I don't know. I've never tried. Micah peered up at the leafy branches. It can't be harder than a barn ladder. It's a lot higher. Anxiety wormed beneath Mothlight's pelt. She'd never climbed a tree. On the moor, prey lived among the gorse and heather. Once I get to the first branch, I'll be okay. Micah reached up with his forepaws and hooked his claws into the bark. Shards flaked away and showered around him. I'm coming with you. Mothflight was not letting him try this alone. No, I need to concentrate. If you climb up, I'll be distracted because I'll be worrying about you. Micah looked at her. You stay here, and I'll drop the bark down to you. Mothflight blinked up at him uncertainly. Are you sure we can't just scrape the bark away here? She nodded towards the peeling wood. It's dry as bone. He leaped up, digging his hind claws in and scooting towards a branch jutting a few tail lengths above his head. Careful! Mothflight called, her breath quickening as she watched him scramble higher. Grunting, he hauled himself onto the lowest branch. This is easy, he called down. Mothlight screwed up her eyes as crumbs of bark drifted down like snowflakes. Don't forget you're not a squirrel. I won't. Micah craned his neck, peering up towards the next branch. Reaching up, he clung to the trunk and hauled himself higher. Mothflight paced the bottom of the tree. Be careful. Ferns swished behind her. She glanced over her shoulder. What are you doing here? Clearsky stalked into the glade, his broad shoulders rippling. An angry snarl curled his lip. We need medicine for Rocky, Mothflight explained. He's really sick. Don't you have herbs on the moor? Clearsky stopped the whisker from her nose. She backed away, shocked by the menace in his mew. We need sap from this tree. She glanced towards Micah, leaves shivering around him, high among the branches. Clearsky jerked his muzzle up. Is that my medicine cat? Yellow fur showed between the leaves as Micah climbed higher. He's helping me, Mothflight explained. Get off my land, Clearsky hissed at her. Mothflight stiffened. I'm not hunting. WindClan seems to think that borders only work one way. That's not true. Mothlight's hackles rose. It's SkyClan who's been stealing more prey. Clearsky's blue gaze turned to ice. His pelt lifted along his spine. Mothflight froze, wishing she hadn't spoken. She backed away, feeling suddenly vulnerable. I'm just a medicine cat, she mewed. I only want to get sap to cure Rocky. As soon as Micah finds some bark, I'll take it and leave. You're not taking anything from SkyClan territory, Clearsky snarled. But Rocky might die without it. That's not my problem. Mothflight couldn't believe her ears. How could any cat be so cruel? Mothflight? Micah's mew sounded from high among the branches. Are you okay? Clearsky glanced upward. She will be if she gets home. Leaves shivered on a branch and Micah stuck out his head. Clearsky, what are you doing here? It's my territory, Clearsky yowled. Or had you forgotten? Micah blinked at him. Of course not, but we need to get some sap for Clearsky cut him off. Stop playing the little hero for your little WindClan friend. Your loyalty is to me. Get down from there. I'm a medicine cat, Micah called back. It's my duty to cure cats. It's your duty to cure your campmates. Clearsky hissed. Not every cat you meet. Anger flared in Mothflight's belly. We can't let cats cats die just because they belong to a different clan. Clear Sky narrowed his eyes. Are you telling me how to lead my clan?
Someone needs to.
Mothflight snapped. You're a foxheart! Eyes flashing with rage, Clear Sky lashed out and raked her muzzle. Shocked, she recoiled. Leave her alone! Micah began to climb down. I will if she gets out of here, Clear Sky snarled. Stay where you are.
Ladies! Stay where you are, Micah.
Mothflight dug her claws into the earth. She forced her Mew not to tremble. Rocky needs the sap. I can't let him die. Brown fur showed at the top of the glade. Redclaw. Mothflight spotted him with a spark of relief. Perhaps he could talk some sense into his leader. The Sky Clan Tom patted down the slope and stopped beside Clear Sky. Is Wind Clan trying to start another fight? His gaze swept to Mothflight, cold with disdain. The hope Mothflight had felt at his arrival dimmed. Above, a branch shook. I'm coming down, Micah called. No! Mothflight ignored the fear sparking beneath her pelt. Rocky needs the bark. She narrowed her eyes, glaring defiantly at Clear Sky. You can do what you like to me. I'm not leaving. Redclaw glanced uneasily at Clear Sky. She's hardly more than a kid. There's no need to hurt her. Clear Sky lifted his gaze to Micah. Stop him from getting the bark. She can return to her camp. She'll go with empty paws. Redclaw nodded and raced for the tree. Leaping, he clung to the bark and pulled himself onto the first branch. Watch out, Micah! Mothflight wailed. Redclaw's coming! A growl rumbled ominously from Clear Sky's throat. I knew I should have never taken him in. Mothflight blinked at him. But he cured your kit. Acorn fur could have cured Tiny Branch. No, she couldn't! Mothflight snapped back. She knew nothing about healing until Micah came and taught her. Clear Skies gazed and it moved from the tree. He was watching Redclaw scramble through the branches. Micah was still climbing, close to the top now. Mothflight's chest swelled with rage. You're lucky to have a cat like Micah in your clan, she growled. He's the bravest and cleverest cat I've ever met. You're the clever one, Clear Sky snarled. You're here, with your paws safely on the ground. He thinks he's got wings. Mothflight lifted her chin. You've never given him a fair chance, she growled. He left his friends to help your clan, and you treat him like a prisoner. You've made Acorn for a spy on him. I wish he'd leave you and join Wind Clan. Clear Sky turned on her. No one leaves my clan without permission.
No one joins my clan and no one leaves it.
Brambles trembled at the top of the slope. Willowtail burst out, her pelt bushed. What's going on here? She bounded down the slope, pushing herself between Mothflight and Clear Sky. Clear Sky stared at her. Another Wind Clan cat. Can't you smell boundaries? Mothtail nudged Mothflight away and faced the Sky Clan leader. I was worried about Mothflight when I smelled her trail cross the border. I wanted to make sure she was okay. I'm fine, Mothflight told her. It's Micah who's in trouble. She nodded towards Redclaw, who was only a few tail lengths behind Micah. He's trying to stop Micah from getting the bark we need to cure Rocky. Willowtail's eyes blazed with anger. Redclaw. I might have known. He was trouble when we were rogues together, and he's still trouble now. Pelt bushing, she raced for the tree and scooted up it, as nimble as a squirrel. Leaves showered down as she scrambled up the trunk. These cats. One of these cats is gonna fall and die. She disappeared among the leaves. A lower branch trembled, and Micah stuck his head out. A long strip of bark hung from his jaws. Scrambling onto the next branch down, he leaped for the trunk and dropped tail first down towards the ground. Landing lightly, he hurried towards Mothflight and laid the bark at her paws. It glistened in the sunlight, sap oozing from its flesh. I got it! The light fizzled beneath her pelt. Thank you. She pressed her nose against his cheek. Clear Sky hissed. How dare you! Tail lashing, he kicked the bark away. No! Mothflight leaped after it, trying to rescue it before leaf litter soiled the precious sap. Clear Sky faced Micah, ears flat. I actually believe that you might become one of the clan, he spat. But you can't be trusted. His gaze flickered to Mothflight. How can you steal for Wind Clan? It's not stealing, Micah faced him. Herbs belong to all cats. A screech sounded above them. Murderer! Willowtail's cry rang across the forest. Thief! Redclaw shrieked back. High above, the leaves exploded around the fighting cats. They're fighting in the tree? Micah jerked his muzzle up. They'll kill each other! Spraying earth behind him, he leaped towards the tree and hauled himself onto the branches. Take the bark to Rocky, he called back to Mothflight. Mothflight froze. I can't leave, not until Micah was safe. Come back, she wailed. Let them kill each other if they want. Guilt flared through her paws. She was meant to protect cats, not wish them dead. Her paws were rooted to the ground as Micah's yellow pelt flashed among the leaves. He swarmed upward, towards the trembling branches where Redclaw and Willowtail fought. Brown fur crashed through the leaves. Redclaw swung from a branch for a moment before scrambling back. Willow's tail balanced further along, her hind paws trembling as she lashed out, blow after blow, with her forepaws. Redclaw backed away, the end of the branch only a tail length behind him. He dipped precariously. Perilously? Not precariously, perilously, as he retreated from Willowtail's punishing swipes. Stop! Micah's mew rang out behind them. Mothflight strained to see him. She could make out his yellow pelt among the green leaves. He was moving slowly along the branch. Stop! He ordered again. Willowtail glanced at him. Stay out of this, she snarled. It's not your battle. It's not any cat's battle, Micah called. I've got the bark. Mothflight's taking it to Rocky. There's no point in fighting now. Redclaw stopped near the end of the branch, his tail thrashing wildly as he fought to keep his balance. Let's at least fight like cats, not crows. On the ground where cats are meant to be. Littletail narrowed her eyes. You were always a mouse heart. She advanced slowly towards the Sky Clan Tom. Stop! Micah followed her along the branch, lifting a paw to grab her tail. He wobbled, fear flashing in his eyes. Mothflight gasped. Be careful! Micah dug his claws into the branch, clinging like a vine. The branch creaked beneath him. Dry bark fluttered down like dust. Fear flared through Mothflight as she noticed that the leaves around Redclaw were withered and brown. With a jolt, she realized that the branch they were on was dying. Get back! She cried. It creaked again. The branch is rotten! Beside her, Clear Sky backed away. Bruh, coward. A crack split the air. The world seemed to slow as the branch bent, then snapped, the wood screaming as it tore away from the tree and dropped. She saw Redclaw fall, flailing. Willowtail dropped beside him, her legs thrashing the air. Redclaw caught hold of a branch and swung, forepaws clinging hard. Willowtail hit the bow below, yowling with shock as she scrambled to cling on. The rotting branch hurled down and smashed onto the ground, shards of wood chafing Mothflight's flank. She screwed up her eyes, scrambling away as the world seemed to explode around her. Then silence fell. A moment later, leaves rustled overhead and Willowtail huffed high above. Micah? Mothflight blinked away the splinters and gazed into the branches. Redclaw had hauled himself onto his paws and was trembling. Willowtail lay frozen, her paws wrapped tightly around the bow that had broken her fall. Mothflight scanned the leaves around them, trying to glimpse Micah's pelt. A low moan sounded from below the tree. Mothflight dragged her gaze towards the fallen branch. Among the shriveled leaves and shattered wood, she saw yellow fur. Dread hollowed her belly. Micah? Her throat tightened. Trembling, she crept closer. Don't let it be him. What a thunk! Once more, she looked up, hoping to see Micah gazing down from the tree, his eyes bright with relief. The moan sounded again.
Thank you for the follow, Noah Paws.
Mothflight felt sick. She forced herself closer until she could make out Micah's twisted body, his hindquarters crushed beneath the splintered wood. His head moved. He's alive! Hope soared in her chest. Then his pain-raked gaze sought hers and held it. She could see his hopeless agony. Grief tore at her heart as she crouched beside him. What can I do? She whispered hoarsely. Let me feel your breath on my cheek. His mew was so weak that she had to lean closer to hear it. He sighed as her muzzle touched his. Mothflight, I don't want to leave you.
Then don't!
Desperation filled her plea. We can drag you out. No, Mothflight. My spine is crushed. You don't know that. I can only feel pain. He reached for her gaze again, his eyes clouded. A sob choked her mew.
I can wrap you in comfrey. Cloudspot says it can mend.
Mothflight, Micah interrupted, gasping. Thank you for letting me come with you to Highstone, and for bringing me to the clans. Horror pressed at the edge of Mothflight's thoughts.
Don't say that! He was talking like this was the end.
I'm glad I spent this time with you.
No!
He mustn't die.
He couldn't!
You made sense of my life, he rasped. You showed me my destiny.
This can't be your destiny!
Mothflight fought for breath, her thoughts spiraling into panic.
It's not fair!
I love you.
Then don't leave me!
I'll see you again. His eyes flickered. Next half moon, maybe. Mothflight felt a wave of relief, but then she realized what he meant. Next half moon? He means he'll see me from StarClan.
No!
The ground swayed beneath Mothflight's paws. She thrust her muzzle against Micah's, longing to feel his warm breath, but she felt nothing. Jerking away, she saw his gaze light for a moment, then grow dull, as though dusk had swept through the forest and swallowed the sunshine.
Micah!
She collapsed. Mothlight pressed her cheek to his.
Don't go. I love you.
R.I.P. Y'all really had to make him die. Because he was too good, that's why. He had a different perspective from outside the clan, so. Hi, Snowwicks. You missed a cat dying. Oh, I know, you came just in time to see the cat dying. You missed the love story before the cat died. What should we do? Because this is my only, what is this? This is my only super edition I've read. So how should I count that in the thing? Should I count it as a Dawn of the Clan? I'll go super edition 1. Because it's like in that era. Oops. I vanished. Where'd it go? The heck? The errands got me! Casually disappears. I pressed Control C by accident, or Control Z? I don't know what, but it flings me to some other spot. It's really weird. Alright, let's stop there. We ended up reading until 3 hours anyways. And also 300 chapters. I mean pages, not chapters. We're halfway done the book. Yeah, let's go! Cliffhanger, cliffhanger. I hope Mothflight kills Clear Sky. Can you imagine? Did he have to do that? I never thought I'd hate a cat in my life. Clear Sky! We shake our hands. Fist shaken. Aloha, we aloha, we. No one likes Clear Sky. Yeah. Maybe at the beginning. Maybe in the first 2 chapters. I should have kept his jock voice. I gave him a jock voice at the very beginning, but then I lost it when I started reading. Like, after it sort of started to fade out, and then at a certain point I couldn't remember what his jock voice sounded like anymore. It was the good old days. Before his girlfriend's tragic death. So true.
Bim, 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 bim.
He was a jock before his girlfriend died, and then he became like evil. He became a brooding jock, and no one likes that. That's just a bully. No, I think actually I take that back. You can be a brooding jock and not a bully. He almost killed Greywing. Insane. Insanity. Insanity.
Fireworks! Do you like watching everyone blow up? Dragon Tales, Dragon Tales. It's almost time for Dragon Tales. Dragon Tales, Dragon Tales.
Still my fave quote when they were battling. Do you have it? What was the quote? I can put it on my new Warrior Cat quote. Warrior Cat. Wait, Nono's Warrior Cat quote. Words to live by. I also want to like look up one of the quotes when Greywing was gonna die. What was that? A star's path? Path of stars? Path of stars. There was one quote in here at the very end that I really liked.
Oh, warm.
Warm, 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 warm. Was it... Maybe it was Windrunner? Oh no, it was just saying hello, old friend. I can't remember what it was. There was a very specific quote, not the very end, but there was another quote before that that hit me. Dang it, I don't remember it, and I don't want to read this chapter again. It was too sad. Oh, I'm so lucky. So many people have loved. I've always been so loved. Yes, 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 yes. That's it. When did he say that? Oh, it was when his kits were born. Right? I think it was when his kits were born. And he was like, he was recalling that it felt the same as when he was with the others. Yes, that one too. Slate's gaze met. Sorry, this is this one's mean. Slate's gaze met Greywing's. Will they ever be safe? He pressed his cheek to hers. Nothing bad will happen to our kits, he promised softly. Not as long as I live. All right. He dies like 2 days later. All right, let's see. Aha! Okay. I think I'm finding it. Ah, I see. I've known so much love. That's it. That's the only sentence, but I'm gonna write it down anyways. I've known so much love. Oh man, we found it at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Close enough though.
Hi, Brandon. How are you?
Still slightly depressed. Aw. I hope that it heads out soon. Heads out the door soon.
But you play Minecraft now? Oh, wonderful. You play a modded Minecraft or just normal Minecraft?
Vanilla Minecraft, as they say. River Ripple has like the best quotes, I think. Modded. Pirated. Oh my god. Yar mateys.
Wagon tails. Almost time for wagon tails. Wagon tails, wagon.
Guns! Oh yeah, there's a Minecraft mod for guns.
Alright, guys, I am gonna head out. I'm thirsty. My throat hurts a little bit.
I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna, I don't know, do something. Wait, okay. No, we're gonna continue Monsties. We're playing Monsties or Spyro. Because I kind of want to play as Spyro. But I think we should keep going with Monsties.
Yeah. That's it. That's all. Thanks for coming.
I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had some sleep, or you worked on things, or you did some chores, or you did absolutely nothing at all. That's also pretty good, I think, because you're still living, and that's a cool thing that you do.
Okay, guys. Bye-bye.
Oh my god, guys, we're so close to 2,700 followers. We need like 40 more people soon.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
And today we will leave with River Ripple's quote. You know what I should do? Wait, that should be my ending thing. Cool inspirational quotes from warrior cats. Okay. Today we will leave with River Ripple's quote. Sometimes we can't stop others from making mistakes, but we can help them when they do. Beautiful.